All right, well, welcome back.
Hello.
Oh Lord. Well, if things look or sound a little different, it's because PC things and trying a couple new things.
PCs. Yeah,
What was
they be like
our
that.
what was our last one of these? Was it Tron Legacy?
I think it was Strong Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah. So to put this into perspective, we meant to do the Mario movie last month. Plans for that fell
Well,
through.
well, we meant to do
Yeah.
Ant-Man 3. We meant to do Mario. We meant to do Evil Dead Rise. We meant to do Creed 3.
Did we mean to do Evil Dead Rise?
Yeah.
I don't remember wanting to do that one.
Well, we talked about it before. We said we
No.
might do it when it comes out, and then we didn't do it.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't end up doing it. Yeah, we did do Creed 3. We didn't do the Mario movie. And this one got heavily delayed as well. But we are here to talk about it.
Here we are. Just fucking doing it. We're fucking doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
I'm doing it.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, as the movie's been out for about a week now, I'd say it's free to talk about spoilers, but we should do a very quick spoiler free
A little blurb.
a little blurb. But first things first, how do you feel about the other two Guardians movies?
I like them a whole bunch. Guardians 1 and 2. I remember back in 2014, me not really knowing anything about the Guardians, like, basically just like everyone else. But, me being a Marvel fan back in the day, I was gonna see it, it looked fine. A movie about a talking tree, a raccoon, some two green people, and some guy that listens to music. Sure, why not? I was a kid. I would have liked anything, even by that point. Uh, but growing up, more and more, I found a new sense of appreciation for the first Guardians movie. I love the characters a lot, and that's been going forward throughout all the movies they've been in, even Infinity War, to some extent Endgame, and to no avail, Love and Thunder. Uh, Guardians 2 is a movie that, but yeah, following that, there's Guardians 2, a movie that I love a lot too. Like, uh, I think that movie did a lot of what Guardians 1 had, but it kind of just amped it up to a more, how do you say?
To the 11th degree.
It's to the 11th. I wanted to say like something like much more poignant, closer to the chest, hard hitting story with these characters, because at that point in time you really know these characters, and you really see them evolve throughout the second film. There's a lot of heart to it, and I liked it a lot. It basically made me a big fan of James Gunn going forward, uh, and of course I had a lot of faith for Guardians 3. So yeah, I love the first two Guardians movies a whole bunch.
Yeah, I echo a lot of that. I adored the first Guardians movie when I saw it as a kid. When I say kid, I was like 12, so yeah, kid. Uh-oh. Hello, Sebastian.
Uh-oh.
Watch a movie or something. I'm bored.
We are recording.
They're recording.
Oh, never mind. After.
Yeah,
Watch a movie.
After.
Okay.
I'll edit that out. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I adored the first Guardians movie a lot when I was a kid when I saw it. But as time changed, my appreciation for it definitely dwindled. But I still really like it. I think it's a really solid movie. But I would say Guardians 2 overtook it as my favorite of I guess the four movies, I guess, because I saw the holiday special. Yeah, Guardians 2, I still don't know if I'd say I love it, but I think it's really, really good. Um, it just it just does what it needs to. But I understand how a lot of people don't like it. You know, I can understand why people wouldn't like it, especially since it is a lot of just. There's quite a bit about it that's just more of the first movie.
It's a much bolder movie.
It's a lot more of the first one. And if that can get on your nerves, then I understand that. So, yeah, and I can understand also a lot of like James Gunn's humor is just not for everybody. His kind of humor is not for everybody. But yeah, with the holiday special, I did like the holiday special, yeah, but you know, it was just kind of a thing. And now we're here, so yeah, safe to say, my thoughts on Guardians 3, just to open it up, very quickly, non-spoiler. My thoughts are that I really, really fucking like it. I really fucking like it. I don't know where I'm gonna sit on it when I watch it again, because I am gonna watch this again. Maybe not in the theater, but when it goes to Disney Plus, absolutely gonna pop this in again, right? I am assuming that'll be the same for you. You'll definitely watch it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I will.
Absolutely. For me, I don't know how I'm gonna sit on it when I see it for the second time. I don't know if it's gonna work the same way. But for me, this film hit all of the right notes that it needed to for me. I still think it has a lot of issues, which we'll talk about. But yeah, generally speaking, I think this movie's really fucking good. It's people are saying it's like, oh, it's the best Marvel movie since Endgame, and I'm like, yeah. It's the best since No Way Home, yeah. Honestly, I would go so far as to say this is the best since like Infinity War.
I'm to agree with that.
So, yeah, I really fucking like this movie. It's also watching the other two back to back before watching this one, because I watched the two right before this one. Definitely helped me notice a lot of small things in this one, like a little things that Gunn had kind of set up and paid off in this one. I don't know if that was the same for you. I don't know. I think you went and rewatched 2. I don't know if you went and watched 1.
I rewatched both of them.
Okay. I don't know if that was the same for you.
Yeah, I rewatched them, but it was more like doing something in the background while I saw what I could, so it wasn't consistent. Right. But I refreshed my mind as much as I could.
Yeah. But did it help you like kind of like see the little small things that Gunn was doing in 3? Because there are some things, some a little more obvious than others, but
I think so.
Yeah.
It might remind me a little bit more of it, but yeah.
Yeah. We'll definitely get there. But yeah. I'm not gonna hog the floor too much here because I know you want to say your piece, but yeah, to give quick spoiler-filled thoughts. Yeah, I think this movie has quite a few issues, but for the overall part of it, I really, really enjoyed it, and I think it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Over to you, Ernest.
All right. Well, Guardians 3 is a movie that I enjoyed very much watching it. I did like it a lot, much like you, but I do think it is easily the worst Guardians movie. It has a lot of issues having to do with the plot, and I don't think every character in the film gets out unscathed. Unfortunately, I think there's some damage done to at least like 2 of them, which I guess you could get into. But yeah, watching it in a pretty I want to say semi-packed theater. There were a few people there who were watching with me. It was quite cathartic seeing people like next to me or in front of me or behind me even like react very heavily to the film. People were crying.
It's a much darker movie than the other two.
Yeah.
Like, and it's felt immediately.
Yeah, there were a lot of emotional notes hitting for a lot of people, which I totally understood. It didn't hit me quite as hard as the first, or even the second, or even the first movie did. Those movies hit me a lot harder than I thought they would. The thing with the second movie for that is that I kind of feel like the movie was expecting us to expect hard-hitting moments, and at times I felt like the movie was being kind of cowardly on how it approached certain scenes. because they wanted to in a way trick us, to invoke feelings out of us, which I understand. Of course, it's like the last in the trilogy, quote unquote. But there were moments in the film where they teased character deaths with the music, the notes of the music going really low, really dark, and every like sounds being muted, some slow motion happening before they just kind of back out of it. It happens like more than once in the movie, and it felt like a little cowardly, just a little bit. But yeah, other than some of my issues aside, which we might get into later on, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a whole bunch. I enjoyed watching these characters return on screen, seeing where they're at now in the point of their lives after the events of Infinity War and Endgame. Thor: Love and Thunder literally means nothing, so I don't even have to mention that. And yeah, I really wanted to see how they ended up after the movie, and I can say that I can simply say that I was satisfied with most of it.
Mm-hmm. I was definitely, by the end of it, I did feel satisfied. Yeah. Yeah, I think with that we can jump right into spoilers, and I think with this one I want to do a full, like, scene by scene as much as possible. I think I want to.
All
It's the first time I've wanted to actually do that for a while,
Right,
because I have thoughts on pretty much most of the stuff in this movie. So, I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to remember right off the top of my head. So I'm
yeah,
gonna
that's the
pull
thing.
up.
It's not exactly fresh in our minds, but we'll,
No,
we'll
'cause
try.
we saw this about a week ago.
Yeah.
Which just shows how bad my attention span is. But yeah, I'm gonna pull up the Wikipedia page on it just to be very clear. Okay. I do remember like the first few minutes pretty clearly. So the movie starts with the beginnings of Rocket's flashbacks, where it opens with the High Evolutionary's hand, in this very slow take of him like moving his hand over, and then you see all the baby raccoons go away, and then focuses on the one that we know to be Rocket.
Completely looming over him.
And very, I think instantly I understood this movie's going to be very different. Like, the tone is going to be different for this one than the other two movies. Because the first two movies have, like, their dark moments, but they are pretty light, generally. They aren't overly dark or, like, cynical. They are lighter movies. They are light movies.
Yeah, they are generally easygoing movies.
Yeah. And this one starts off in a way it's like, okay, this one's going to be different. So that felt immediately followed by Rocket, the opening scene of Rocket walking around listening to Creep by Radiohead and singing along.
Yeah, they are in Nowhere.
They're on Nowhere.
Yep. It's their home base now.
Nowhere is their HQ. Yeah. And they're just kind of putting it together. Yeah. It's kind of, they don't really touch on like what they've been doing since Endgame. But it's made at least like kind of clear that they've taken up a base. They're really kind of establishing a name for themselves.
They've been busy.
And they've been busy. They've also made it clear that Peter is still fucking reeling over Gamora.
Yep.
He's still not himself. You see him basically consistently drinking himself to,
passing out.
Yeah, it's passing out, and Nebula has to carry Peter to his bed, and that's as like the music kind of builds and you get that title card, right? I was like, okay.
They play Creep
by Radiohead, and as like the chorus builds as the end of the song hits, as Radiohead, I don't know the name of the lead singer, but as like the singer hits the high note, the title Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 popped up, and I was like, okay. All right, much different start. Because you think of the opening to the first two movies, it's dancing and happy, like jovial songs and title card.
Yeah,
the first movie's iconic opening of Peter dancing to Come and Get Your Love. And then Volume 2's, Baby Groot dancing to Mr. Blue Sky. Like,
yeah, while the Guardians fight in the background.
And this one is just Rocket ain't feeling himself. Things aren't great, but they're kind of getting by, listening to Creep. Yeah, for me, that was like an instant sign of like, okay, we're doing something a little different here. Yeah, I don't know about you, how that scene hit for you.
Yeah, it was a very interesting opening. It did set the tone right. It made me believe that we had a different movie in our hands. Yeah, it excited me. It was very different.
Yeah,
And tonally stunning. Like
it's
it
a great opening.
yeah, set up a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, it set up kind of like where these characters have been and like what's the tone gonna be for the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, here we go. Pretty much immediate cut to Adam Warlock.
Well, I was gonna say like they we see the characters just talking to each other about stuff and how they feel about Quill at that moment because they talk about stuff after that. We see Cracklin and we get introduced to Cosmo also. Yeah, they are there. They are
Not really an introduction. They just kind of throw her in as if we already know her.
Yeah, it's
Which is
kind of weird.
Yeah, because we've seen her in the first two movies, technically, as she's like a cameo appearance on those. And then in the holiday special, she like says some stuff. So really, this is like our actual introduction to her, but they just kind of drop her in.
I mean, yeah, in the first movie, she's might well just some dog that you see
She's
in a
just
cage.
a cameo in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, which by that, because what they're doing in there is that they're playing around. Basically, they're like practicing with Kraken's bow, the one that he got from Yondu.
Yeah.
Which at that point confused me a lot because I was like, "You've had that bow for a while."
The fin?
The fin and the arrow. You had it for a while, and he's still not very good with it.
No.
Strangely enough, like yeah, you could say he got blipped.
Yeah.
I feel like
he might have got blipped.
But I feel like the time between Guardians 2...
Because 2 is 2014, Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War is 2018, and then Endgame is 2023.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Also, just saying, that's very weird that Guardians 2 takes place
in 2014.
2014, same
year.
Yeah,
so that was said when the movie came out. Yeah, it takes place only a few months after the first movie, which would explain Baby Groot and how the team isn't like fully. They're not like fully gelled yet. Yeah, this is where we get our first introduction. The introduction to our first running joke. Cosmo being a bad dog.
Which she is not.
She is not.
It's a good dog.
It says Kraglin being an asshole.
Yeah, he said Kraglin's a good doggy.
Yeah, Cosmo.
Yeah, Cosmo's a good doggy.
Kraglin's still not great with the fin yet.
Cosmo
was able to do what Kraglin wants to do instantly because of her telekinesis.
Yeah, I do believe that's still very strange that he's not very good with it. Like, I think that he should overcome by now, but I guess they wanted their payoff.
Yeah. Cosmo's not a good dog, and she doesn't like that because she's a dog, and she wants to be called a good dog.
Yeah.
Not a. I didn't think it was particularly funny. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't think it was a very funny joke. I think they kept it going way too long.
I did enjoy Cosmo like.
Yeah, and that's
like,
Maria Bakalova providing the voice of Cosmo.
Yeah, right. Oh, speaking of something that wasn't very funny, in that same scene, Cracklin fucks up with the arrow. He hits Nebula on her way out of the building
in the chest, yeah.
And I was there like, first of all, okay, thank God it was her. And third of all, second of all, it was like, why are you doing this outside where you could like hurt someone else by accident? Jesus, you gotta be careful there, Cracklin.
Yeah.
Especially if he knows that he's not very good with it. Thank God it was Nebula, though. Yeah, it was a joke that she got stabbed with the arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Then we get to see Rocket. He pulls out like a something. It's like a key card, almost like puts it down, puts the Zune down. Because he's been carrying the Zune around because he likes listening to the music. But of course, Peter's still kind of like protective of it because it's his music, right? Yondu gave it to him. And then that's when we pretty much get our introduction to Adam Warlock, as he quite literally flies in and starts beating the shit out of the Guardians.
Yeah, first thing he does is go through the wall of Rocket's room and drive him through many walls.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think Rocket should be dead from that. Yeah.
These characters have suffered a lot of throws. Remember when Rocket got straight fucking like power stoned by Ronin's hammer?
Yeah, he did. He got hit by the power stone, and he also withheld it with the other people.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was more so him toying with Rocket. Like
that did not look like a toy. He force pushed him like real hard. He like swatted him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like a swat to the side. Like
that's not playing.
Effort. Like a
that's not toying.
Effortless swat to the side. Like, get out of here. You're nothing. You're nothing to me.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. I didn't think Rocket would have been someone that was that resilient. But I guess you could argue that with his cybernetics.
Yeah.
And all that.
But yeah. With that fight, we get my first notable issue with the movie. That I don't know if you were going to have the same problem.
Let's hear it.
I don't think the action in this movie is particularly good. And I think the problem is the editing. Once again, this is a problem the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie had. Not one that the second movie had, funny enough. This is a problem that exists in the first film, and particularly this movie. Not as heavily, but as an actual thing to note. Gunn is trying different things with the camera here. Cool, interesting things. Like, he's actually trying to create some interesting shots for action. But the edit is too fast. I think I forget what's happening in the scene. I'd have to watch it again. I think it's when Adam Warlock fights Drax. And, like, when Drax throws Adam Warlock, right? He throws him out. The camera puts to the side and spins and rotates as Adam spins around. And then really fast cuts to Drax doing, like, a move on, like, trying to, like, grab him. And the camera moves around to try to show that, but it edits too fast to another rapid camera move, and it makes the fight look a little disjointed. Like, it becomes like what the hell's going on? It's like cutting really fast, and the camera's moving a lot. I can't really tell what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple of the fights in this movie are like that. Funny enough, they're both Adam Warlock fights, and they were not great. Generally, I don't think any of the action in this movie is great. I think it's all fine, like it's serviceable, but there's only like two actual like great fights in this movie, and only one of them is just a straight like beating.
I was kind of
which we'll talk about later.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I can't say I disagree with that. I didn't really pay too much attention to the action in the movie. But
I think if you watch it again, you'll see what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't any like.
It's not like bad. I wouldn't outright call it bad. I would call the action in the first Guardians of the movie bad, but I wouldn't call it bad in this movie.
Yeah, none of the action in this movie stuck out to me, negatively or positively. So, yeah.
I do think the hand-to-hand stuff in the first Guardians is not good because of this similar problem of except it's like different because in the first movie it's like the editing is way too fast and the camera's way too close to see anything that like hits hard. 2 doesn't have this problem. The action's great in 2. I don't have a problem with the action in 2. Suicide Squad and Peacemaker also don't have these issues. But for some reason, Guardians 1 and 3 have this issue. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too anal about it, but I don't know. Yeah. In this scuffle with Adam Warlock, Rocket gets severely hurt.
Oh, I was gonna ask, how did you feel about you did laugh a lot of in the movie, but how did you feel about Kraglin hiding behind like a, I don't know, some crate, and then trying to use his arrow against Adam Warlock. He hits him with it, and then Adam was all like, "Who threw that, baby?"
Yeah.
How did you feel about that joke?
I kind of chuckled. It was funny that he was just like, the fuck? Whatever, and just walked away. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, but he called him like a baby, like,
yeah.
What? It was more like, hey, I'll get you. No, don't do that.
Walks away, yeah.
But
Will Poulter does a really good job as Adam Warlock.
I'm wondering, because you were going to talk about it, right after that, Rocket gets shot.
Rocket gets fucked. Yeah.
He gets shot by Adam Warlock's beam laser and fucks him up. So I'm wondering, don't you think that is a huge tonal shift? Like, really jarringly so? Because at one moment they're trying to make you laugh, like, out loud with that baby joke with the arrow, and then like right after that, cutting to Rocket getting shot to a really like.
I don't think it was right after that, because I don't think he gets to Rocket until he gets to Mantis, which is, I think,
he shoots Rocket before Mantis, and then Mantis pulls up, and then he breaks her arm, which is like, wow,
instantly. Yeah,
which kind of adds to my point about the whole tone being kind of inconsistent at that point, because it's very odd that they want us to go from like haha that's funny, laughing, and then oh my god.
I mean, that kind of happens in 2 as well. Like in 2, the final battle there's quite a bit of jokes in that final battle. Like, they're going from, oh, the Sovereign are after this, oh shit, we're gonna die, we have to get to the planet's Ego's core, and then they're doing this whole bit about Scotch tape in the middle of this fight. Like, in the finale, where shit gets hard, tough, and then they have this whole scuffle about tape, and it goes on for 5 minutes.
I think the difference between that is that I don't think there was a moment right before that was.
Yeah, it doesn't cut to harsh, okay, these characters are about to die.
Yeah.
But so I can understand that, but I would say that the other 2 movies are not void of this. But it is, I think I agree that it is a little jarring, but I did feel it in the moment, so I can't necessarily say I saw it instantly.
I think one of the biggest examples that I can pull is from Infinity War, where Thanos is holding Thor by the head, and then it was right after he shoved the Power Stone into his head to get Loki to give up the Tesseract.
You talk too much.
And not that. It was right after that where Loki pulled up the Tesseract, and Thor was like, "You really are the worst, brother." That part. Mm-hmm. I laughed at it back then, but thinking about it, I was like, I don't think that should be there.
I never laughed at that, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, that didn't bother me.
Never laughed at it?
No, I never laughed at it.
Like, when you said it didn't bother you, or you didn't laugh at it? Like, what do you mean by that? Like,
I mean that it didn't bother me, and I never laughed at it. I don't know.
Yeah. But
there's nothing really to explain.
Oh, you said both at the same time. That they confused me. If you meant didn't bother you, but you didn't laugh at it. But yeah, it's kind of like that, where I don't really see Thor saying that at that very moment. It feels wrong. It's not like this though. Someone getting cut, getting absolutely pulled the Glock on in them.
Yeah. Which, speaking of that, before we get too far off, I was surprised when that happened, and that became the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I didn't know what like the plot of this movie really was. The trailers have kind of kept it really like airtight. So when Rocket gets like a shit fucked and he's about to die, and they're like, "All right, we're going off to save Rocket," I was like, "Oh, so that's the plot." I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's what this is about. This is like what's inciting the whole journey." And I'm like, because I didn't really get that from the trailers, but also like I can understand why they wouldn't want to like tell you that, right? That Rocky was on his fucking deathbed through like 80% of this movie.
I mean, we were guessing that he was gonna die throughout the
Yeah,
movie.
we were guessing that he was gonna die, but I didn't think he was gonna be like on his deathbed threat. I thought he was gonna be I thought he was gonna be an active player in the story. But I was pleasantly surprised.
He was actively inactive.
Yeah. He's out of commission for like 80% of this movie. The most you get out of Rocket for a good portion of this movie is flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a scene that like pretty early on that got me was like they put Adam Warlock out of commission for a little bit, and when Mantis finds Rocket and starts freaking out, and then she's like, "Peter, you need to get it. Quill, you need to get in here." And she just starts fucking like just losing her mind that like Rocket is like dying right in front of her. Great acting from Klementieff. I heard that apparently that's how you pronounce her last name is Klementieff. I didn't know that.
Never knew her name.
Yeah, but yeah, she did a great job in that scene. That like pretty early on, I started feeling myself getting scared for Rocket, which I think this movie does a really good job on first viewing. I don't know if I can say that in viewings afterward. It does a very good job in its first viewing at making you scared for these characters. I think. I can understand like your point of like you feeling James Gunn is like a coward for not like having, I guess, like the scones to kill the characters or really harm them. But
it's mostly because of how often he does it in this movie. Because you mentioned that they incapacitated Adam Warlock, but it was during when Drax showed up.
Yeah, and started beating the shit out of him, and then Adam got the upper hand.
Yep, and like I said, the music was like going dark. Everything was like slowing down for a second, very dramatic and whatnot. And then
Nebula,
right before anything happens, Nebula stabs Adam Warlock in the back.
Yep.
That was kind of like, I was gonna mention that. But did you feel like Drax was in danger during that? Like he was like, oh, he's done.
I didn't think he was done because it was too early in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I was terrified for Rocket.
Yeah, there you go. So, would that have anything to do with the fact that, like I said, we were guessing that Rocket might die in the movie?
Part of it was like a guess. Like I was like, oh shit! Like I think Rocket's gonna go. I think part of it was
like kind of meta.
Part of it was a little meta in that way, but I think also another of it was that I genuinely love these characters.
Yeah, same.
And so I when like it really felt like something was gonna happen to them, I did start to like freak out because I had that attachment to them that Gunn had already built up over the two movies. So like, it was definitely like a mix of both like the meta aspect of it and like the actual like storytelling of like holy shit, like Rocket is about to die here, and then there's the confusion of like the med pack, which we'll talk about the med pack.
Oh,
we'll talk about the med pack.
Yeah,
the med pack not working on him, and it starts like this like fit, like he starts twitching and tweaking out, and he starts foaming at the mouth, and it's worse. And there's like this confusion, and the anxiety of the scene is really great, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like it's way early for this. Like what's going on? And then they put him on the med bay in their ship, in the Bowie, as it's called. It's a different ship now. It's called the Bowie. Yeah, they put him on. Yeah, I know. I mean, the other ship was called the Milano, right? So, yeah.
So what is that reference to the Milano? Actually,
Alyssa Milano, an actress. Very big in the 80s, yeah. And then the Bowie is a reference to David Bowie. Yeah. But
wait, whatever happened to the Milano?
I
Not sure.
I think it got destroyed after 2 or after an Endgame, but I don't know. I don't think they're on the Milano in Thor: Love and Thunder. I'd have to double check, but I'm not sure what happened to the Milano.
Like their ship, because that ship gets destroyed a lot throughout
That's
the
true. The
movies.
Milano got fucked up.
It gets destroyed in the first movie.
Yeah, it's not the
second,
same ship in 2. It's like an
not.
altered version of the Milano based on like the
They
pieces.
still call it the Milano.
Yeah, they still call it the Milano though. Yeah.
And Infinity War, same.
It's the same shit.
Sure.
But that shit gets fucked up. Yeah.
Oh, it runs out of power in Endgame.
Yeah.
And it could. Oh no, they still have it. I forgot that.
No, they still have it in Endgame because
they use it to
Nebula
go to
flies
Thanos.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they use it to.
They use it to
fight
go
Thanos.
to yeah. But
So.
yeah, Rocket gets put on the med bay, and they figure out that he's essentially got a kill switch in him. Like that's literally what it is. It's a kill switch. It is so that whoever created him, whoever gets him, right, can't do anything to him, right? Because it's like he's like in intellectual property. And that kickstarts the story. Like it literally kickstarts with like fucking Peter going, "All right, let's go save our best friend. Let's go save my best friend." Which yeah, that pretty much yeah. Yeah, according to Drax, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
What, Rocket being Peter's best friend?
No, second best friend.
The joke?
Yeah, the joke.
Didn't get me.
All right, fair enough.
But in fairness, none of the jokes got me here.
None of them.
None of them. I think I like chuckled at a couple, or like went, but none of them got me.
I really like the.
I didn't outright laugh at any of them.
Like I really like the. Okay, we kill one guy, one super guy that no one likes. They're just making us sad, man.
I almost like laughed at the Zargnut joke.
Yeah.
It's like, can I have a Zargnut? Oh, I'm sorry, you're too late. I already ate all of them. He puts another one in his mouth.
What makes it better? It was maybe I wanted a Sark nut. Sorry, you just tried out. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, that pretty much kickstarts the adventure. They were like, okay, where is this kill switch made? Okay, Orgo Corp. All right, looks like we're going there.
Oh, I actually kind of like want to get through. I guess what I mean.
I wasn't jumping right straight there. I was just like, that's where they say they need to go.
Okay, yeah, but
then we get into our first Rocket flashback too, as well.
I was gonna say it's how they find out. Nebula just scans the exo in his body, and that's how they know.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't strike you as a little odd?
Not
like
really,
Nebula just has his capabilities of scanning objects that have a whole lot of history in them. Like,
I mean, she outright states that Rocket has upgraded her.
Yeah.
So it's not too hard to believe that Rocket did something and gave her the ability to scan things.
Like all that exoskeleton had files upon files upon files of like company details, like a records book.
I don't find that too hard to believe, especially since they said that Rocket upgraded her, gave her the arm, the new arm.
If we're gonna go the arm's fine, but like what about the fact that all that history is it's like in Rocket's body?
I mean, yeah, it's literally High Evolutionary's like tech. Like it wouldn't be that hard, especially if it's based off of like his personal memories.
I understand that, but like it's like again like stuff like about the company itself, like all of it there. It's like if Tony Stark's Iron Man suit had his bank account there.
Mm-hmm.
Like why? Why would you put that there? I do not know. It feels like I want to say like lazy way to just get the plot started after I would say doing a good job to set it all up. I feel like they kind of just gave up and like just took an easy way out to getting everything else going instead of I don't know, maybe Rocket being a little more blunt, like less overt but a little blunt about stuff that he knows about, say, the company like back in the past. Because we know that Rocket would never give out his history. We know
No.
that. But don't you think that even still, Rocket would have been like, "Hey, if I'm ever like really like super injured, I'm gonna die. Don't use the med packs on me. It would be so much worse. I'm not gonna tell you why. Just don't do it."
I don't even know if he knows about the kill switch too. That's the thing they never make clear as well.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I don't know how else. I don't know how he would know about the kill switch unless he tried it. Which that's a depressing thought.
Yeah, so the person thought, yeah. But that struck me as a little odd. I can maybe excuse the nibble on arm thing that can do anything you really needed to do, but man, just all that stuff being there to get everything going forward. It's like, come on, you could have done better than that. But yeah, we can go on.
Yeah, we get our first like full on Rocket flashback, so we see him getting experimented on, and I don't think this is a hot take, but animal torture fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And to better explain, I don't think I mentioned this before we even got delved deep into spoilers. I cried at multiple points in this movie.
Were they all the flashback?
No, not all the flashbacks.
Okay.
Part of it.
Oh, you explained that part. You cried. You did explain that part.
What?
You did explain that part that you cried for the multiple scenes. If that's what you meant.
Okay. Sorry, I got a little confused. I don't really know what you're referring to, but sorry, where was I? Rocket flashback. Yes. So we see Rocket getting experimented on, and as like a baby, and I'm I am sensitive to in anything, film, real life, television, doesn't matter. I am very sensitive to animal cruelty and seeing animals injured or put into danger. I am very sensitive about that. That stuff will always get me feeling like shit. So a lot of this movie was very tough to watch for me, particularly in the flashbacks, which deals very heavily in that. As we see the high evolutionary experimenting on these various animals to create the perfect society, as he puts it. And yeah, those scenes definitely got to me, particularly when Rocket meets his friends for the first time, getting put in the cage with the other Subject 89 like tests, like other like animals, where the first words he mutters, which keep in mind when he's put in that cage, he's basically thrown into there. He's shaking. He's like kind of crying. He's blood all over his head. You see his scalp, just straight up see his scalp.
Yeah, it's like body torture.
Yeah,
it's rough to watch.
Yeah, it's really rough to watch. And like, there's 3 other animals in that cage: a walrus, a bunny with like little robotic legs and like a thing on her mouth, and then
metallic mouth.
Yeah, metallic mouth, and then a otter with robotic arms. And she comes up to this otter comes up to baby Rocket and is like, "How are you doing, friend? Like, I know it's hard. It's not fun." And Rocket at this point hasn't spoke, and his first words to come out of his mouth are "hurts." And at that moment, I started to feel a little bit of the tears well up.
Yeah.
And like when Lila grabs the otter, grabs the like little like towel off the ground and just puts it on little Rocket's head, like starting to like help him like absorb up some of the blood and heal. I was like, oh, this movie's not gonna be fun for me, is it? It's like, I'm not gonna have a good time, am I? And yeah, I don't remember exactly what's after that. I think it's them getting to OrgoCorp, and then the Ravagers show up right before they're able to actually go to OrgoCorp.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
was
Right before they, so they arrive to OrgoCorp, and right before the Ravagers show up, Peter, Mantis, and Drax go down to try to like disable the shields. And that's where we get the conversation about the Zargnuts, and then we start to set up Peter's kind of character arc for the movie, which is kind of moving on from Gamora. Because a lot of the character arcs in this movie are about kind of accepting who you are and like trying to like not necessarily like run away from your past, but like accept like that's what your flaws are what make you, and kind of move on to your future, and you know, accepting who you are and that kind of stuff, which I think is really well laid out throughout the movie. And it starts for Peter here. Because he used to have Mantis talking to him about like, hey, like, you know, like you've been so busy feeling like shit about Gamora. Like, have you ever thought about that? You can go back to Earth. Why didn't you ever go see your grandpa? Why didn't you ever go see him? Like, I'm sure it would bring him a lot of comfort to know that you're okay. And he's like, oh, I'm not going back there. I'm pretty sure people die on Earth when they're 50. And like, what is Mantis' reaction? It's like, are you gonna die?
You gonna die? 50? What's the point of living?
He's like, I'm not 50. Yeah.
But they actually mentioned something about the fact that his from what Peter's memory, he recalls it, is that his grandfather screamed in his face and pushed him out of the room last time he saw him.
Yeah. Which is what? Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
It was cool that they acknowledged that.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, what is it, Drax kind of just like, don't worry about it, like, you'll be fine, or something. I don't remember what Drax offers in that conversation other than the Zargnuts. Peter has one of those Zargnuts.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Yeah.
I think they sell those from real life.
Maybe.
Disney.
Probably at Disneyland, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then they just kind of continue their conversation. I don't remember the full extent of the conversation because, unfortunately, this movie is very fresh in our heads. But yeah, it gets to the joke about this Argonaut. It's like, well, maybe you would have thought of that. I wanted this Argonaut. Oh, I'm sorry, they're all gone.
They're all gone.
Continues eating other
Well, he
ones.
slips one final one out.
But yeah, before we get into the Ravagers, anything to add about like what your thoughts on any of those scenes, particularly the flashback?
No, yeah, I think with the flashbacks, that being the first one, I think they are all very effective and well done. I think they are my favorite part of the whole movie. Spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, you said we're in the spoilers.
Well, spoilers for like my further thoughts throughout the movie.
Yeah. I just know you said the movie didn't get you so much. Like emotionally.
If I can say it, like, yeah, the animal parts were definitely like the harder hitting parts in the movie for me. They did get me. Just I guess not as much as I really wanted them to, because, you know, me expecting probably a lot from it. But it was interesting seeing people in the theater, their development to absorbing the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I myself, like you, don't really like animal torture. Don't really like seeing animals get hurt on screen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I'll say, oddly enough, having experienced it more and more throughout movies and like games, I can get kind of numb to it at points. And I'm not willing to say that I felt numb to it throughout this movie, but it didn't hit me as hard as something like I don't know. Was Marley and I? Yeah,
Marley and me.
Marley and me. That's grammatically incorrect, but that's what I said. Marley and I. But yeah, didn't hit me as hard as that movie like does even to this day.
Mm.
But I feel like James definitely knew that people watching his movie definitely didn't like animal torture either, so he really did rely on that.
Yeah,
But you know,
he
smart
knows when
enough.
to hit the emotional points really well. That's one thing about all three of these movies. They all feel like they have genuine heart and emotion in them. I don't think
Yeah.
any of them lack that in any way.
Might have been a little easier for him this time because again, animals, not really. I'm pretty sure you and I aren't the only two people in the world who don't like animal abuse.
No, no.
Hot take, I know, right?
Yeah, hot take, right? Yeah.
Hot take.
Um,
But yeah, he definitely took advantage of that fact.
he took advantage of it and was like, all right, if this is gonna be Rocket's backstory, I need to really hit it home, and he did. He did. He really much did. Um, but now we can get into the Ravagers. In our introduction to Gamora.
Or reintroduction? Question mark?
My least favorite part of this movie.
Mm.
I don't want to go as far to say as I hated Gamora in this movie. I did not like Gamora at all.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want me to go into to saying.
I mean, do you want to lay it all out now or get into it the more we go?
I can read a quick blurb that I wrote down about her. So I wrote down, I think Zoe Saldana does an excellent job in the role she's always done, but the demeanor of the character this time around was not something I found pleasant. She didn't need to be the same Gamora from the pre-Endgame era, but I think her generally angry demeanor made her someone that was a nuisance to be around at times. I don't think Gunn ever justified her character's anger and general distaste of the Guardians. I found her small arc in the film to be generous, but it did feel a little too late. Okay, I wrote that wrong. Too little too late, in my opinion. That's what I wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't find her character to be enjoyable to be around. She was just angry throughout all of it and was just an asshole. And like I said, I don't need her to be Gamora from Guardians 1 and 2 and
She shouldn't be.
Endgame. She shouldn't be. That would be wrong if she
Weird.
was.
That'd be weird.
It would be
wrong.
weird. It would be wrong.
I'll say I'm very glad James Gunn committed to not having like them get back together.
Yes, especially that. Like there are good things about that. Like yeah, I'm very glad Gunn did not push those two together because that just would have been wrong.
I don't know, like something weird, like I don't know, having them like some weird stuff that has like the person clone the other person thinking about together, some fucking like that. Didn't like Black Canary and Green Arrow basically do this shit in Injustice?
No, it's Green Arrow in like Injustice 2 is the Green Arrow from a different universe.
That's basically bad.
And Black Canary is the one from the Injustice universe. Yeah,
it's basically bad.
I don't know. You said a lot of words really fast. I kind of blurred.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I was just saying that isn't that basically the same thing? Like if Peter and Gamora were to get back together,
yeah,
the example
it'd be kind of like that.
Yeah, the example of that being really weird and wrong, and like would be Green Arrow and Black Canary.
Yeah, I mean the main point being that like it would be really weird if Gamora was the same Gamora.
Yeah, and even if she wasn't, she just like gets to Peter anyway. That'd be really weird. Like, I don't see it.
Yeah, I just was not a fan of Gamora that much in this movie. I think Gunn didn't really know what to do with her because I don't think this was his plan. The movie makes a couple subtle, maybe not so subtle, jabs at Infinity War and Endgame.
I'll say the Russos do kind of tend to do stuff that really leaves a lot of the.
Well, they didn't write those movies.
They didn't?
No, it was Marcus and McFeely.
Huh.
No, the Russos aren't writers.
Didn't they write in Civil War?
No, that was Marcus and McFeely.
Huh.
Yeah, Marcus and McFeely wrote, I believe it was First Avenger, Thor: The Dark World, maybe even Thor 1, Thor: Winter Soldier, Civil War, Endgame, and Infinity War.
Yeah, then.
Yep. Yeah, the Russos did not write those characters.
Well, surely they had some involvement with the. No, I mean, I kind of mean like where things go with their movies, because I've noticed like a little pattern where their movies kind of leave like future directors or writers for the MCU for the next movies in kind of like weird places where they gotta like what would you say, like they're written on a wall, and other writers have to try to fix that issue. What they put them on, like Winter Soldier, where they destroyed the helicarriers, but then Joss Whedon had to try to find a way to get a helicarrier in the movie, so he had to like he had to work it in his show.
I don't
on
think
why
that,
the helicarrier.
Yeah, I don't think that was. I don't think that was particularly the Russos' decision. I would say that's probably more of what Marcus McFeely wrote.
Well, yeah, I meant like their movies specifically, particularly. I know just saying the Russos name out of like because I know they worked in those movies. But yeah, just one example, and I think they just did it again with Gamora twice. When Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, but yeah, that was the McFeely. Marcus McFeely wrote those, and yeah, I think I can't. This is just speculation from me. Something tells me that while Gunn did say he wrote the dialogue for the Guardians in Infinity War and Endgame, something tells me he didn't come up with the idea of Gamora dying. Something tells me he didn't come up with that. And also something tells me he didn't come up with Peter losing his temper in Infinity War. But to that I say, he also wrote Peter to be the guy who, as soon as he heard that Ego put the tumor in his mom's head, he just started blasting.
I was gonna say that's not very. That fits.
That fits. Because like if that's what James Gunn thinks, again, this is just speculation. I can't confirm, or I have no basis on any of this. If that's what James Gunn thinks, right? Like, then you have a small misunderstanding of your character, and I mean small, because you wrote Star-Lord to be the guy that shoots first and asks questions later, because he's an emotional guy. He cares very much about the people he loves. That's the character you wrote. And that's been consistent throughout all of these movies, how far he's willing to go for the Guardians and for the people that he loves. Right? Like, that's consistent. So, to come out there and say, basically kind of make a small jab, right? That like, oh, Peter almost destroyed half the universe. Right? That feels a little bit like you slightly don't understand your own character. Because you also wrote that in Guardians 2.
How strange that the characters are kind of are really. Well, was that done as like a jab at Peter, or
I don't know if that was a
jab?
I don't know if that was particularly a jab at Peter or more so Infinity War.
Right.
I don't know. Again, this is all speculation. I could be completely fucking wrong, right? This is just me speculating. But anyway, we got a little too far ahead. Yeah, we got to get into her introduction to Gamora. She's been hanging with the Ravagers since the battle of 2023. Like that's where she's been. She's become a Ravager. And it's been established that Nebula and Gamora have had, they've had contact, which would make sense. She kind of that particular Nebula did help Gamora in, that battle and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, was helpful for that version of Gamora. So it would make sense that would be the one Guardian she would establish any form of conversation with. But yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan of Gamora. I don't know if you had the same feelings.
No, I do. I agree. Sentiment of Gamora not being very good in the movie. A lot of that having to do with the fact that this is 2014 Gamora, the Gamora that was
pre-character development Gamora.
I was gonna say this is the Gamora that was just like a day before turning on Thanos and putting.
She always wanted to turn on Thanos, right? Like it was always her plan.
It was her chance, and throughout the first Guardians movie, she put the safety of the universe into consideration when it came to finding out that the ball that they all had and what we're fighting for was Infinity Stone.
Mm-hmm.
And she had some sort of selflessness toward her. She was willing to do the right thing, even in the way of her trying to make her life better. So it felt a little odd to see her act so
angry
and cruel towards
mean
toward the Guardians.
Like, granted,
especially
there's a lot of unexplained time, right?
Especially if he's someone who like is dealing with the Ravagers and people who like are not even arguably like are actually like worse people than the Guardians.
Literally space pirates.
Yeah, space pirates were people who are like worse than the Guardians.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's really weird. What are you doing, Gamora? This doesn't feel like her. I never got the sense of Gamora.
It didn't have to feel like old Gamora. It didn't have to be. It'd be wrong if it was. But this Gamora didn't feel right to me. I just didn't gel with the very angry, like, fuck everybody around me. Why can't I just worry about me? Like, Gamora. I don't know.
It just isn't.
I feel like I just want to know what Gunn was going for. Like, what was his idea?
It
only makes me think he had no fucking idea because this was the plan.
Honestly, I feel like all of that we just kind of just skipped the movie with her. Like with all that, her journey to Ravagers and like ending up in this state of mind.
And it also kind of sucks that Zoe Saldana is done after this. Like,
really?
She's done. She said she's done.
Wow.
Yeah. The only like Guardians actors that have like full on said they're done, as far as I know, have been Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, and I think Bradley Cooper.
Can't say that's a fantastic send off for her.
No.
But yeah, no, I am not a big fan of Gamora in here.
No.
I was like trying to figure out in the theater, like, what's wrong with her? Like, what am I like not digging about her?
Yeah.
And then the more I thought about it, was like, yeah, it made sense to me. The more I thought about it,
I was like, yeah, no, she's just so fucking angry and mean.
Unreasonably
mean. Like, I get why she's kind of an ass to Peter. Like, I get that much. That part didn't necessarily bother me. It's like, why was she so cruel to everyone else around her? People that didn't do anything to her, like Drax, Rocket, Groot, like and Mantis, like they didn't do nothing to her. Like, I get Peter, he's this kind of, he wants his girlfriend back, the love of his life back.
Yeah.
So I get why she's an asshole to him, but like, because he's being aggressive with
honestly, he's also kind of blood fucking thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the sequence that we're gonna talk about.
I did get a little more sense in this movie of like the deadliest woman in the galaxy.
Yeah.
I did get much more of a sense in that than I think I ever got by any of the other movies.
No, not even Guardians 2 when she picked up
not even Guardians 2 when she picked up the fucking the Gatling gun off the ground.
Gatling gun. Jesus.
I think I got more of a sense in this movie that she was the deadliest woman in the galaxy. I don't know if you
agree with her attitude.
Not her attitude, but like how bloodthirsty she kind of was.
Well, I knew her. From what I understood from Gamora, she was the deadliest woman in the galaxy due to her actions, not because she was, not because of how much she wanted it. Especially since she was someone who didn't really enjoy being with Thanos. Obviously, like kind of hated working under him.
Yeah, no, I should restate. I got more sense of the deadliest woman in the galaxy because of how efficient she was at doing what she needed to do with her weapons.
Right, I guess.
Even though, yeah, there are moments of her, but that didn't fully come through because that Gamora had changed. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think that was ever in doubt. Her being really good, right?
Yeah. I just feel like we could have seen it a little more, to fully like understand the deadliest woman in the galaxy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say like shit. She wasn't even that like mean and just nasty in Endgame.
No.
You know, like the worst thing she did was kick Peter in the nuts when she was weirded out by him because she didn't know who he was.
Yeah. and she still doesn't
Although,
even really know who he is.
yeah,
She never knew this guy.
I'll say I do kind of appreciate her saying, "Do I know you?" after he like
Yeah.
says her name. I appreciate that. Because yeah, of course. Why would she know
Yeah,
him?
why would she know him? Like, there's no reason.
Yeah, it's been like 3 years, something like that. However long it happened.
I did kind of like that she like kept calling him Quinn.
When yeah,
Um, yeah, but yeah, I mean, props to Zoe Saldana. She did what she could.
mm-hmm.
She always does what she can.
She's a good actress.
Very good actress. It's sad to see her go. If this is like the end, right?
No,
Of
see you
her.
in Avatar 3.
Yeah.
You can play another crazy, evil, angry chick in a different movie.
For
I
different
shouldn't say.
reasons.
Yeah, I shouldn't say evil. Just like
For very
fucking insane.
different reasons.
Actually,
She's
you know
angry.
what? She's really actually. Yo, fuck it. I am gonna call her evil. She does some shit. Avatar 2.
Oh, I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware, and I know why she does it too. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa.
Um,
So yeah, where are we?
yeah. Yeah, they get to a gourd. This Ravager show up. Gamora shows up, and Stakar, who's also there, played by Sylvester Stallone again. I was like, all right, here's the deal. We'll help you with what you need to do, but you're going about it the wrong way. We can help you do it a better way.
Oh, hey. I was gonna say you said they get there. How did they get there?
Oh, they like to be jumped.
No. Like, how did they get in the ship?
I was getting to that.
Oh. No, in the ship with the Guardians. I mean, like.
Oh yeah,
meet
they
up with-
portaled in. They Doctor Strange portaled in.
Yeah, a portal, huh?
Yep. Which
Yep.
that guy was in Guardians too.
He was.
Yep.
For like 2 seconds.
For like 2 seconds, did a little Doctor Strange thing.
Yeah. The portal. We'll keep it in mind.
They
Also, sorry to interrupt you again, but like.
But I know what you're trying to say. I know what you were saying. But it
wasn't with the portal this time. It was more so with the with how they'd meet up, because Nebula mentions that she set up a meeting, but she didn't tell everyone else. She didn't. Yeah, not no one else. But her justification for that is that because if I told you, you would react like this, and I'm there like, but he reacted like this anyway. What do you tell him anyway? I don't. Why you make it so complicated? Nebula. It was just a very dangerous way for her to go about it. Them just coming out of nowhere with like, I think they had their guns trained too. Like they were aiming guns at them. Like, why? Just tell them you have a meeting happening.
Well, the meeting was also supposed to happen later than it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Nebula calling in a favor.
Nebula should have told the Guardians. Especially Peter, dare I say. Even despite her justification, which isn't very good because the thing that she didn't want to happen happened anyway. It was gonna happen no matter what. So like,
I remember that it was more so like, oh, if I told you this before we got on, you would have reacted like this, and we wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Peter, like, would not have gone anywhere. Like, how so? Like,
no, like they as a collective group would not have gone anywhere.
Oh, I mean, they still did it in the heat of the moment. Yeah. But yeah, the portal thing. Keep that in mind.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure the portal thing is I think it's he can't portal where he can't see, or where he isn't. I don't understand how the portals work. I'm gonna be real.
It's a Doctor Strange portal.
Yeah, I don't think I fully. What? I think it's wherever you can visualize.
Yeah, basically, like wherever you imagine, wherever you can go.
I haven't seen the first Doctor Strange in a while. I think it's been actually like 4 years since I saw the first Doctor Strange.
The first Doctor Strange movie said that they can travel anywhere in the multiverse.
Yeah.
With the portals.
Yeah.
Anywhere. And I'm not sure he was in the ship when it happened. It's not Nightcrawler teleporting. No. It's like you can go anywhere. Yeah. Straight up. So.
Yes, yeah. I get it. They could have used the portals to get out.
To get out, to get in.
I mean, also to get in, right? Like just randomly Doctor Strange portaling in is a little weird. But then you also don't get Among Us spaceship. and you don't
Yeah,
get the
but I was
moment for Gamora and Peter to talk to each other.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't get that moment if they just portal in.
yeah, it's a problem. Like if you have the capability, like they were there to help them get in the easiest way possible, and they had the easiest way possible with a portal. Which, by the way, they knew where to land on. They landed on the storage room. That wasn't by luck. They knew they had to go there. So by that logic, they could have had him portal them to the storage room in a better way because their spacesuits wouldn't like. Well, they probably still would. No, but you can put the spacesuits back in the portal where in the ship, safeguard them there. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. They don't get.
But then if everything goes wrong in the Agord thing like it did, do they have time to put the spacesuits on when you portal out?
You don't have to put them on. You can just
Yeah.
go through the portal.
Then what's the point of bringing the spacesuits anyway?
Yeah, I thought about that. You don't really need the spacesuits. You can just go in. Yeah, the portal's kind of like.
Well, they do need the suits to try to hide, like pretend that they're not just fucking space pirates coming in.
No, that's the spacesuits. I'm talking. The universe are under the spacesuits. They don't really need the spacesuits for like blending in.
But they would need
the
Ogord like prisoner outfits or whatever the fuck they were wearing.
Yeah, they were wearing
outfits or whatever.
Yeah, they were wearing like worker uniforms. Yeah, the portal's kind of a problem. It's a problem with the sequence. I know, like it's like you said, you don't get the conversation.
Yeah,
but like
there's no other moment for that conversation to happen in that sequence either. There's no other moment for it.
Yeah, that's kind of why it's a problem.
There's no time for it.
Yeah, because the fact that you like introduce the portal guy in, but you ignore that fact, so you can.
But you also can't not have him there because he's with Stakar at the end of Guardians 2.
We could just forget about it. I mean, does anyone really remember him?
Apparently, James Gunn.
Yeah, but like the French one.
They also forgot Ving Rhames in Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh, I get because she's.
Hold on, we didn't really know the guy could teleport though.
He had Doctor Strange powers.
Yeah, but like, I feel like you can really get away with it, which is not having him in. Like, you lose nothing other than some guy not being there. Other than something that
the entrance is different for the Ravagers if they don't use the portal guy.
That's kind of a problem too. Like, just have him dock, just have him communicate with the Guardians and be like, "Hey, yo, we're here," and then cut to the next scene where they're in the ship. You fix a lot just not having this guy in. Yeah, so you mentioned Michelle Yeoh being a Ravager and her being Shang-Chi's aunt. Yeah.
There's also there's a couple of MCU previous actors in this movie, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll talk about them. Neither of them bother me. They're not problems. I'm just saying that they are. There's a couple of MCU actors.
I guess you have to remind me of them, really.
Linda Cardellini does the voice of Lila, and Linda Cardellini plays Hawkeye's wife in the MCU.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
And then Judy Greer provides the voice of like the pig monster thing, and Judy Greer is Cassie Lang's mom.
Okay.
Yeah, very conveniently not in Quantumania, but provides her voice to Guardians 3.
She fucking died. Fuck it. that's my excuse. She died. Whatever. Who cares?
They acknowledge her in 3. That's the thing.
They mention her.
Yeah. Now they mention Cassie mentions her mom, or Scott tries to mention her mom.
They don't mention his stepdad though. Forgot about him.
No, they don't. They forgot about Bobby Cannavale. They also very conveniently forgot about Luis, but that's different. That's different.
That's fucked. Yeah.
I don't want to harp on Ant-Man 3 right now.
Any more than you need to.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've exhausted all my anger on that movie.
But yeah, I think the portal guy introducing him, like, it's so easy. Just don't have him in there. You lose nothing. Yeah. You can have everything else happen, but yeah, I think the portal's all a problem. But at least just for that sequence alone, it's like a gap of like a huge issue in the plot. But yeah, let's move forward on. That was my tangent about fucking portals in the MCU. How you can use one of them to cut Thanos' arm off.
Yeah. But yeah, they get to a gorge. Yeah. What's the conversation? Yeah, Peter basically tells Gamora, he's like, I fucking missed you. And she's like, I'm not that Gamora. Like, how many times do I need to keep telling you I am not her? We get that dumb joke about the open line. I think it's a bad joke.
It is a really bad joke.
It is not a good joke. I mean, it's like, it's funny on paper, right? But then, like, the actual, like, it just goes on for a little bit in the movie, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's get into
It kind of what I mentioned too about the tone. It kind of like breaks tone too. They're like having a kind of an emotional moment, like with the Quinn line. That's a little funny. It's just not like doesn't take you out of it. And then Peter's like letting his heart out, and then Mantis and Drax like interrupt, like really, just let us sit in. Come on.
Part of it is Drax, which is something that he's been since Guardians 2. He's been pretty much delegated to comedic relief. Which I'm not 100% cool with. I think they did a better job with him in this movie, but compared to 2, because they don't have the dumb joke about my nipples.
You don't like the nipple jokes?
I don't. Like, I think the nipple jokes are shit. Just straight up, I think they're shit.
I just like this delivery of the first one. I have some sort of nipples.
His delivery's fine. I just don't think the jokes are funny. I think they're shit. Anyway.
I'm just saying, I don't think Drax is completely worthless in the Guardians 2.
No, I don't. He's not like completely worthless, but he doesn't really do a whole lot outside of make jokes.
Well, he's the reason why Mantis tells them the truth.
Yeah,
Mantis and Drax bonding like really convinces Mantis that she has to do something about ego. Yeah. That's my defense of Drax.
Despite Drax. Yeah. Despite, like, I can complain about, like, Mantis and Drax being, like, very, very silly, goofy comedic relief. I think they're great together. Both those actors, Palm and Dave Bautista, like, they are magic together. And particularly Palm as Mantis. Like, Mantis gets to really shine in this movie, I think, more than... Like, if you see this holiday special... Mantis and Drax are like like the main characters, and they get to do a lot together, like more like comedic, goofy stuff. But I think in this movie she gets to shine way more than she did in the other stuff.
We'll get into it later, but I think Mantis is the one that gets the most damaged out of all the characters in the movie. I think she does something really kind of awful.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you are.
I don't agree. I don't agree too much.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll get into it.
I can understand what you're talking about, but yeah, that is pretty fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it destroys her character.
Okay.
It's not the same as like other characters, but yeah, we'll get into that later, I guess. Dreading that conversation. Yeah, we're on a gourd. We get more silly jokes from Nathan Fillion about I have one of those dumb ones gets on my nerves all the time. Yeah, the joke the more they say the jokes out loud, I'm like, man, I don't like any of the jokes in this movie.
I did laugh at the first few jokes of Nathan Fillion just hating his coworker.
Yeah, that was kind of cute, but I don't know. I don't
like,
think I liked any of the jokes
like,
in this movie.
The start of it was pretty great. I thought was where he's like, oh really? I made that up completely. No. He's just gaslighting his coworker completely. I enjoyed that quite a lot. But, well, even if I did enjoy the jokes, I guess I can say right now, the whole sequence in this body base headquarters thingy.
Yeah, Agord Industries or whatever it was called. Yeah,
it's my least favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. can't really think of anything. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate any of it. But it is definitely like, yeah, probably my least favorite part of the movie.
It honestly like feels kind of worthless in retrospective because they didn't really need anything from there. Just
They thought they needed
info.
something from there, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, it was kind of
But it
And
puts
I
them
don't think they-
puts them on the High Evolutionaries trail.
which I think you could have done some other way.
Yeah.
Something shorter, more worthwhile because I don't think we really gain much from anything in this movie. In this sequence, not even much to do with characters.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you get more like stuff with like building like kind of like Peter's arc a little bit. You get a bit of that. We see a little bit of like the old Pete when he talks to cameo number 6.
oh yeah, it does show some of Peter's humanity, like that he's different.
Like
I
his
think he's,
humanity and a bit of
revisited
like
this
his
before.
old ways, also a little bit
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
It is a little
I
fucked
can
up
do
that he just straight gaslights that girl.
Yep.
He just straight gaslights and manipulates her. Maybe not gaslights, but he straight manipulates her.
I mean, he does save her life.
He saves her life, but he also manipulates
We're
her.
fucking crazy and insane, Gamora. Holy shit.
Yeah, who just wants
Gamora
to
wanted to catch a
murder
body.
everybody in that room.
I just want to feel the warmth of their blood on my hands and smear it on my cheek. I just want it.
She didn't say that. But
She meant it in spirit. Yeah, keep going.
yeah, there's really not a whole lot to talk about that sequence outside of like jokes and like some weird tension stuff. Yeah, Groot is told to stay on the ship. Fine, makes sense. But
Dare I say they kind of did the thing again where they faked out with with Drax.
yeah, where
almost dying.
he fights everybody and then gets shot twice.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, so wait, same with Gamora. She also gets like heavily injured, and they have to like, well, yeah, like, and the music goes.
Not Gamora, Nebula.
Oh, Nebula. I thought that's what it said. Yeah, Nebula.
No, you said Gamora.
My bad. Yeah, Nebula gets fucked up too, and the movie's like the music's like oh no no no, and Mantis is crying also like oh no Drax. Oh,
Well, the Mantis, the music gets a little like dark, and then immediately cuts to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, no, that's not working.
Again, the tone. It's going all over the place.
Yep.
But yeah, you really like basically know there's not really much to get out of this whole sequence.
No, outside of like small character conversations, some jokes, and I don't want to be one of those guys that gets annoyed by like James Gunn including his family and friends in these movies. I don't really care too much about that. Fucking Martin Scorsese's entire cast nowadays are just his friends that he's worked with before.
Yeah.
Same with Quentin Tarantino. But like, it was very like that role did not need to be Nathan Fillion. Like he's fun in it. I like seeing Nathan Fillion.
I do. Yeah, it's the same.
But like, yeah, Daniela Melchior, as Uda, the clerk that they need to get the information from. Did that need to be her? And I guess it's just a cameo role, so like it doesn't matter who it is.
That's what I was cameo. I didn't really pay much attention to it. I like imagine I like seeing Nathan Fillion, so I didn't really mind.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay much
Nathan
attention.
Fillion has a cameo in each of these movies, actually.
Yeah, he was the blue guy in
In 1, I don't know who he is in 2, but I know he's.
Yeah,
in
I was
2.
gonna ask, who did you mean? Who is he in?
I have no idea who he is 2. He is in 2. I just don't know who he is. I think he's one of the Ravagers or something.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe he's a Ravager.
Yeah. But in 3, he's that Hogord guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve Agee has a cameo in 2. Obviously, like Chukwudi Ewuji, who plays the High Evolutionary. He was in Peacemaker, right? Jennifer Holland, James Gunn's wife, plays one of the what's the security lady who gets fucking shot in the leg.
Yeah, just screaming in full agony because Gamora's a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they
It's a little weird how like the cameos were like there. They were all there,
they're all there. Yeah.
back to back. Um, I don't know. It doesn't bother me like too much, but it is a little. It's like okay, that's one cameo. That's another cameo. Oh, and there's another one.
Another one.
Yeah, you don't get too much out of this whole sequence, which is kind of
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I can't
I don't.
say I care for
It
it.
does give us a lot of really cool visuals and a fun action scene, like Drax getting to be a little bit of the destroyer again. It was kind of fun.
Well, that was one of the good action scenes.
Yeah, that was one of the good ones. I think there's only two great ones, but that's one of like that one's fun.
Yeah.
It got better, but it was like weird, like certain edits they were doing in some of the fights. Funny enough, I think it is only in the Adam Warlock stuff.
Actually, I'll say the action sequence I had issues with it, with the fact that it was a lot of like enemies close in the distance. Even though they had guns that they could fire and shoot them with, like they did with Drax, but Mantis was fine.
Yeah.
The pet peeve of mine for action, a lot of action in movies where bad guys have guns and they just want to like move in as close as possible to hit them with them instead of firing from afar, which is the point of guns. But yeah.
Yeah. After that, we get back onto. Well, no, they remember they thought they got something, which is important. What they get doesn't work for Rocket, but it tells them where the High Evolutionary is, I believe, or it gives them more details on Rocket's past.
Yeah, get some
which is where we get another flashback with Rocket and the High Evolutionary, where we start to learn what High Evolutionary is doing, which he's taking.
We missed our first introduction to High Evolutionary. We skipped past that.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we did. It's when Adam Warlock basically meets up.
Yes.
With him.
We get my least favorite retcon in this movie.
Go ahead.
I don't like that the High Evolutionary created the Sovereign.
Thank you so much.
I don't like it.
Yep.
I think Aisha had a perfectly fine reason to want to go after the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
Why does the High Evolutionary need to be the one that created them? And why does she need to go after them because the High Evolutionary said so?
And why didn't she fucking tell High Evolutionary about Rocket Raccoon if she first saw him? I mean, surely she knew about him.
Yeah. Like, it didn't need to be like that.
No, it did not.
It really didn't need to be. And part of it is because Adam Warlock did not need to be in this movie.
No.
And I hate that I have to say that. I hate that I'm saying it. Because, like, part of it is because I like Will Poulter in the role. And I like the idea of having Adam Warlock around. But it feels like Gunn kind of forced himself to use him because he set that up. And he wanted to pay that off.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm
chance to before he, because this was his final chance, right? This is his last thing he's ever going to write for the MCU, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why he put Adam Warlock in the movie, because it's something he set up and teased, and he wanted to pay that off, right?
Yeah.
This was not the movie for him. He was very forced in.
Very much forced in. I don't think Adam was very good in the movie. I think some of his scenes are very funny. Adam, what's his name?
Will Poulter.
Will Poulter plays him very well.
He plays him very well. Like, he knows how to deliver the comedic lines, and he needs to.
It's a silly ass fucking role, but good for him. He's gonna make a lot more movies with him. But I think Adam Warlock sucks in this movie. Like, other than like the opening sequence, which is very impactful, which I thought would have set something great for Adam Warlock. It really doesn't. I think other than that, you really don't need Adam Warlock in the movie.
No. But yeah, no, he's not great in this. I don't like that the High Evolutionary is connected to the Sovereign in that way. It could, like, if they wanted to connect the Sovereign, like if this wanted to connect the Sovereign to the High Evolutionary, why not just have the High Evolutionary go to the sovereign planet, be like, yo, you know about my property, where he at though? Can I hire you?
Yeah. I think it would have been a great power play on his part. Something other than him being the creator. Like, you could have some yeah, you know.
It didn't need to be that way. And even if you don't connect them in that way, here's another way to make Adam Warlock a more presence in the movie. Just have fucking Aisha on the side going, yo, get these Guardians.
These Guardians just need to steal our fucking batteries.
He stole my fucking batteries.
The little prick.
Yeah, because they're fucking assholes.
Yeah, they're prideful little pricks.
Yeah, they're prideful, conceited douchebags. Like, that is what they are, and I'm fine if that's just her motivation.
I really liked them in Guardians too. They were funny as fuck.
They were fun. They were fun in two.
What was the guy that like shot the Guardians out of space during the asteroid field, and then he failed like you suck, Sarlacc.
Yeah, whatever it was.
It's good. Some funny shit. But you know, despite that awful retcon, I think it's a pretty good introduction to a high evolutionary.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
We also get him in like the flashbacks where like he's you know, conducting experiments, and he's like, okay, this is what I need from you.
Yeah, that's the first we ever see of him.
Yeah, that's the first we see of him in the movie. But then we see him
in
the flashbacks.
What a sign! Honestly, I want to point that out too.
Oh, by the way, this movie has more prosthetics than any other movie in history. It had 22,000 prosthetics.
Shit.
And yeah, High Evolutionary design is great. Mm-hmm. He looks great, and Chukwudi Ewuji does a great job as this character. I have some things I want to say about the character, but I will save that till later.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Back to Rocket's flashback. Rocket is insanely smart, as we know, and he's been smart since he was a child. And we also see the beginnings of his kleptomania, as you can see him kind of grabbing little bits and pieces from places where we can kind of see that little bit set up. The High Evolutionary is essentially trying to create a perfect society in his mind, which is changing things from the way they are to something more perfect. And it seems like what he wants to create are humanoid animals that are docile, however you say. And it's not working, because every time he does it, they come out angry. Rocket figures it out pretty quickly, like what they need to do to make them not docile, or to make them docile and not angry. And High Evolutionary's like, oh, okay, yeah, that. All right. Doesn't really react to it much at the time, but he's like, okay, like, you're really smart. And then I think that's the end of that flashback.
Well, let's not forget he shows them how the process goes with making the creatures.
Yes. It's horrifying.
We can talk about it. It's fucking horrifying.
Holy shit. Horrifying. He puts them in like this chamber and then injects them with something or sprays something at them, and then they like fucking Ninja Turtle ooze mutate.
It's like at first they're like some fucking Akira creation, like the group are like wah, oh God. It's like bloating and then it turns out normal. And after that, you know, they're like, you know, kind of captivated or like over themselves, and then they're angry. They lose their fucking mind. It's like wah. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
It's not pretty stuff. It freaks the shit out of Rocket.
Pretty shit out of me, shit.
Yeah, shit. But
also, I did. We can notice some details about Higher Evolutionary and Rocket. It's so strange how this isn't a criticism. It's actually kind of fascinating to look at. With at first how High Evolutionary has Rocket like on his lap. Mm-hmm. Like watching Rocket do his work, do smart stuff and whatnot.
Because he thinks he's inferior.
Yeah, and then after that, just while
his whole demeanor around him changes.
Yeah, High Evolutionary is just giving his whole spiel, his monologue, and he kind of just grips Rocket's head like tightly, like, "Oh God, what are you gonna stop?" Yeah. He's very much like some kind of a control freak. Like everything must go in a perfect way, otherwise, yeah. And he emphasizes his point in many ways, and that's kind of why I like him a lot as a villain. Despite the flaws.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the end of that flashback. I don't know if it continues much after that.
Uh, you mentioned it, but yeah, Rocket grabs pieces
Yeah. You
from
see
a table.
his little kleptomania a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, which is important later on. It's
It's
important.
important later on, and then if like you just know Rocky and he's a klepto, he has to grab everything around him. You know, that's just how he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the end of that flashback. We get, and then we go back to the present where like they find out all this stuff about Rocket's past, and Nebula says something that I think hits home in a way. I don't know how you felt about it. Where Nebula is like, Jesus, he was like tortured. This was worse than what Thanos did to me.
Which is interesting.
Which was interesting to hear come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Which at first made me go, no, and then I thought about it and I'm like, well, I don't know now.
Yeah.
Fucking Karen Nebula was great in this movie. I love Nebula.
Yeah, boy.
She very quickly became like one of my favorites.
Characters, you know, so you're like it's
Like
like
in the
had,
MCU, like she's had great development.
oh wait, she's had some like crazy fucking development, like being basically a bland nothing, and
She
Guardians
was
One,
nothing. In Guardians 1, she's nothing.
kind of lame, and then the
She's
Guardians
a
2 is
nothing
like
character, and then in Guardians 2, like you start to see a little bit of that development, and then Infinity War and Endgame just fucking go through the roof on that. They really like expanded that character.
I want to give a lot of credit to Guardians 2 for that, like
Yeah, because Guardians 2
like,
starts that.
like from the start, she's already a whole different character, like someone like much better.
Yeah, like when I was rewatching Guardians 1, I'm like, oh right, I forgot how completely different this character was.
Mm-hmm. And what really like sealed it for me was when after her fight with Gamora was where he was like, "You're the one who wanted to win, and I just wanted a sister." It's like, oh,
yep,
shit,
and that's everything cracks into place.
Yeah, and not only that, I love the ending of Guardians 2 where Gamora hugs her.
She kind of hugs back.
Nebula gives her a hug back, but it was with her her actual arm, like not the
Not
fully
her,
turned
yeah.
metal one. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I love Guardians 2, by the way. I guess I should mention that.
Couldn't tell, yeah.
I couldn't tell. Yeah, like you mentioned, Infinity War and Endgame just ramp that shit up. It's crazy.
Yeah, they really like went all in on developing Nebula as a character, and this movie does it too.
Mm-hmm.
They really like push forward like Nebula's character development. Yeah, I love Nebula in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we get the confrontation between Peter and Gamora again. This one goes so far to like really fucking push Gamora, and she throws him into the computer screen. And she's, what was the line? It was like, well, I forget. There was a specific line she says that was memorable, but I can't for the life of me get the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's so bad about your life that you need me to be something I'm not, or something like that? No, what was it? What is it you're so afraid of that I have to be some kind of way, or something like that?
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But I guess we should mention like, after they find out stuff about Rocket, they go straight. They want to go straight there.
Yeah, they want to go straight to the High Evolutionary, and Gamora's like, this dude's fucking dangerous.
And she also wants to go back with the Ravagers.
She wants to go back with the Ravagers, and then we get
really
the second stupidest thing in the movie.
Go ahead.
The second stupidest thing in this movie. Gamora goes to call a Ravager, gets no call.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Cut to randomly on O'Gord, where they get this random Ravager. Don't know how they got him.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that shit. Like, how did they get him? Oh my god,
Where did they get him from? And he doesn't spill anything, so Aisha's like, all right, Adam, show him we mean business. Fucking incinerates him. And he acts all happy about it. He's like, I did all right, mother. And she's like, we actually needed him to talk. He can't talk now.
I guess you'll like that joke.
It was just so fucking morbid. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
This fucking screams.
Yeah, and then his like little pet thing.
Oh yeah, the little pet thing.
The little thing, the little Fizzgig. I'm just gonna call him a Fizzgig. Fizzgigs are from the Dark Crystal. Watch that movie. Yeah. But it's his pet, and he kind of like cuddles up against the fucking incinerated body, and Warlock has that great line where he's like, "I don't like how this is making me feel. I really don't like how this is making me feel."
You know what Little Pet reminds me of?
What?
He reminds me of Milton. Milton from the Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get what I mean with that, like
Yeah,
a scene in the movie that, like,
yeah.
it's funny.
Oh no, Milton!
Milton, who's Milton? You are joking right now. But yeah,
I didn't know
that's
Milton.
I think I would know a name like Milton.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me! What? Oh, why wasn't he with in the truck? He was with us the whole time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. That little. He's like, I don't like how this is making me feel right now. But the Adam Warlock takes the little thing.
It's mine now, mother.
It's mine now, mother. I will train him in the sovereign ways.
Sovereign ways.
I will train him by not doing that.
Not doing that. Very good.
He's just a little. He's just a kid. He's just a baby.
Exactly what it is.
Yeah. He's a child.
Which, by the way, I do like the idea of like a half-hearted individual having like the mindset of a child. I do like that.
Yeah, because he was just born.
Yeah,
essentially.
but like, so they did it bad.
He's very dumb. He's very dumb. But yeah, we pretty much just go straight to High Evolutionary's laboratories now, or to Counter Earth. Sorry, to Counter Earth. I think we go straight to Counter Earth here. I don't think there's too much to talk about. Oh, I completely forgot to fucking say something when we were talking about Peter and Mantis talking with these Zargnuts. Mantis mentions that you should go see your dad. They should go see his grandpa.
Granddad.
Yeah. Actually, no, I think I did mention that. I think I'm stupid.
You did mention that.
Okay, fine.
But I'm pretty sure there's a scene in between that where no, you're right. It's the scene where do you realize everything you know?
Yes,
that song.
That song.
Yeah,
do you realize? Where we get the metaphor about lily pads.
Yeah.
Drax just says whatever Mantis told him. He's like, like Gamora is you have been hopping from lily pad to lily pad, but you've been spending so much time hopping from lily pad to lily pad, you forgot maybe you should swim. And Peter's
it all makes sense.
He's like, that actually made sense. He's like, of course. He's like, no, that was a metaphor. And then he tries to make a couple metaphors, and it doesn't work out. And you just see fucking Mantis in the corner going, stop. And then he looks at her and goes, oh.
Well, what was it, the one with the turd? Was
there a line about a turd?
Yeah, there was like a bit of like something about like a turd shaped like an animal, and then even my turds have metaphors.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I really did the jokes in this movie. Not all that time, but like shit like that just got me.
There's some silly shit that is like kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to Counter Earth, and they drop land on it, and it's basically Earth.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's exactly what it is. It's Earth.
It's like Earth, but like in the 80s.
Yeah, kind of like in the 80s. And then when they get to the touchdown, right, they walk over.
Suburban neighborhood.
Yeah, suburban neighborhood. And he's like, oh, we don't mean you any harm. A little child throws a ball at the tracks. And he just smacks her in the head with it. Throws it at her head. It was in the trailer. They start attacking the Guardians, and then Groot unleashes Kaiju Groot, where he takes his core and kind of pushes every part of his body out to make himself look bigger.
Yeah, Groot is as OP as he's ever been. He's crazy.
He's as OP as he's ever been. Built like a truck.
Yeah. I still miss the old design though, but
yeah, I miss the old design, but I think he looks funny.
I'll take what I can get. Yeah,
Yeah.
with this.
I'll take.
Also,
what I can
he really is just kind of invisible now. He we didn't mention it, but like he got his head torn off in
get.
the
Yeah, so he gets his head
the
ripped
opening,
off. Yeah.
but he like grew back really quick.
Well, he didn't. I don't
We
think
didn't
he
see
grew
it.
it back. I think he went back to his body.
Well, it's like all the pieces got like torn apart when he was getting dragged to the building.
Mm,
It was like that, but it seems like he can just regenerate really fast now,
maybe.
which I'm fine with. Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah. One of the people, or one of the people on Counter Earth gets hurt, and like Peter goes to help her. He's like, "Hey, like, no, I'm serious. Like, we're not gonna harm you. We just want to ask a couple questions." So she takes him into their home.
He gives his piece by handing her
a med
like a napkin, like
yeah,
a napkin for like
it was a napkin or a bandage or
like
something.
a handkerchief for like her
for her
knee that
knee she
busted up.
scraped. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, shows Peter's compassion.
Yeah.
Something that I don't think we mentioned. Oh no, sorry, no, right into the next part where we get the flashbang that was Hatsune Miku playing. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, you mentioned like this, like the second that you mentioned, I'm sure like drawing blanks on it.
Yeah, so when they walk into the house, the song that's playing in their house is Hatsune Miku music.
Huh.
And I heard that, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't listen to Hatsune Miku.
I don't either, but I just know that was Miku. And I was like, what the fuck?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Pipe bomb.
Yeah.
So cool. I wonder what happens if I...
Yeah, they get into the house where we get the bit about the couch. And yeah, that bit.
Now that went on for a little too long. Like
that went on for way too fucking long.
Like literally, so like
it was kind of funny
times.
when they cut back to Drax and he's like barely keeping it like awake.
Yeah,
like that was kind of funny, but
that took up most of the scene.
Yeah, they barely got like what the actual point of the scene was. They just kept doing this bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It went on too long. But they were just like, all right, where do we find the High Evolutionary? He's in that giant thing over there? Cool. All right, we're going over there.
Wait, man, I had to borrow your car.
By the way, we're going to borrow your car. That
when I said that,
yeah,
there was like a husband.
Reaction, yeah.
They're like, the woman's
like,
husband. He was like, oh, no.
Yeah. And then we get the single funniest joke in the entire movie.
Yes, sir.
Very possibly.
It was very in character. That's why I like it a lot.
They go to open the car. Quill gives Groot a bunch of guns. He's like, you know what to do with these. They both get in the car, Groot and Quill. Nebula is struggling to open the door. And then we get the first F-bomb in all of the MCU before Deadpool got to do it. We get the first F-bomb where he's like, all right, put your finger on the handle, then pull. Or put your thumb on the handle and press in. She's like, all right, what do I do?
Your hand on the handle.
Yeah.
Push the button. Looks like you're pushing the keyhole. What? There should be a button under the keyhole.
There's a button
under the handle.
Under the handle. Push that in. She's like, okay. What else now? Now open the fucking door. That line killed the entire audience. That one, I think. I don't know what would happen for you, but
everyone laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone lost it. I lost it.
Yeah.
I can't think of a more fitting character to give that F-bomb to.
To give that F-bomb to. There's actually a fun story about that F-bomb that I think I don't know if you want we can get into that now. That's a fun story about that.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
So that wasn't written into the script. He was not supposed to say fuck. I think he was supposed to say like open the damn door or something. But Chris Pratt improvised that on the day. And Gunn thought it was fucking hilarious, so he put it in the edit. And then when he showed the edit to Marvel or to Disney, he was like, he said this in an interview. He was like, Disney never asked me to take up anything or change anything in any of these movies. This is the time they're gonna ask me to change something. Which, first of all, wow, they let him get away with a lot if that's the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they brought it up to Kevin Feige, and Feige was like, well, because he was like, Gunn asked Feige, he's like, are they going to make me take this out of the movie? And Feige said, well, let me put it to you this way. The Russos had an F-bomb in Endgame. But they decided it wasn't going to work and that they didn't want that to be their legacy with the MCU. So they took it out.
Okay. That's strange.
So Feige said, if you don't want that to be your legacy, you don't have to put that in. And Gunn said, that only entices me more.
It's my last movie,
so they
bro.
let him keep it in. They didn't. So
Good.
apparently, what we can take from that is Disney don't give a fuck. You can put F-bombs in that movie if you want. That's what that sounds like to me. Because you also remember when they were when Endgame was supposed to have Thanos come in with a severed Captain America head and throw it on the ground. That was a thing that was supposed to happen in that movie.
I did not know.
No, this is real. This is real. This is real. They drew up storyboards and everything. This was real. This was going to happen.
When was this going to happen in the movie?
I guess he was. I don't know when it was supposed to happen. I think his entrance into 2023 was going to be different, and he was going to come in with like a severed Captain America head and just throw it on the ground.
Did he like just go to Earth and kill the Avengers from like what?
I guess he went back to 2012 and grabbed it, but apparently they thought it was too much, and they just didn't keep it in. They didn't like it.
Sounds like too much.
They were just
fucking
like,
stupid.
They were like, no, let's not do this.
That's unnecessary as hell.
Yeah, they were just like, it was unnecessary. It was too much. Just not do it, and they didn't do it. But he was like, okay, where was that F-bomb gonna be? And who was gonna say? Because if it was gonna be like Cap, I don't know if it was gonna work with Cap. I would have thought it would have been Tony.
Yeah, I would guess it was Tony or
either Tony or Thor.
Or Rocket.
Or Rocket, maybe. I think it would have been funnier if it was like Thor or Tony.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we got the first.
I appreciate this F-bomb. I can't wait until it gets old.
Yeah, when it gets old, when Deadpool uses it 50 times in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, Deadpool 2 fucking puts all 50 cents in the swear jar. The swear jar.
Yeah, every penny's going in there.
Yeah. Every penny. They're like, oh, that's gonna be their budget.
Yeah. Yeah. They take the car over to the High Evolutionaries.
Oh yeah, Peter can't drive. Like he's really bad.
He can't drive.
And then
but they notice as they're driving over, Counter Earth ain't so different. They still got drugs, still got violence.
Yeah.
Still got homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, okay.
They play a song there.
Yeah, it's an Alice Cooper song.
Right.
Because at the same time, Gamora is on the Bowie. Just kind of just going through their shit, right? Goes through Peter's backpack and sees a picture of him with his mom and his grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I understood at that time what that scene was there for, but it was supposed to kind of incite that change in Gamora to kind of lighten up.
Wait, I mean, what did Gamora think about here beforehand?
Not much apparently. Not very highly of him.
What? Like in her mind, like Peter didn't have like a family or something like that.
No, it was more so just like, what was he so afraid to lose? I think that seeing that picture was realized kind of what he was afraid to lose, which was his family and his love.
What's the actual conclusion to that?
That arc?
Yeah.
The conclusion of that is, I bet we were fun.
Yeah. You yeah. No.
No, you got something. Did you have something?
I'm kind of. Yeah, I haven't something there. I'm just kind of blanking at it right now.
Yeah, we get to the High Evolutionary. Nebula isn't allowed in because gun arm.
Oh, cybernetics.
Cybernetics, yeah. So they go in. And we get. Was there any other flashbacks before this that we should talk about?
I know we're missing one flashback. I just
We're
don't know
missing
where it
one more flashback. I just don't remember where it was placed.
we got 2 more left. This is the one soon coming. Wait, what?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm great.
No, I think we have one more flashback.
Just one. Right.
Oh
yeah.
shit! We completely missed one.
It was just the longest one. That's why.
No, we completely missed one before the one that we're both thinking of. We're missing the scene where Rocket is kind of hanging around with.
Oh yeah.
friends.
You're right. Yep.
We're missing the one with Rocket, kind of hanging around with his friends, and they all name themselves because they're going to be going to the new utopia, right? The new, like the perfect society. Lila gives herself her name. Teefs, the walrus, gives himself his name because everybody has them, but mine are a little abnormal, or whatever he says, or they're quite present.
Yeah, something like that.
And then the bunny says, "Me am laying on floor. Me named Floor." And then Rocket gives himself his name. He says, "Someday I'm going to make great big machines that fly. Then we're all going to fly away together to the forever and beautiful sky." Rocket. Gives himself the name Rocket. Yep. And Lila says the line, "It's so good to have friends." And then cut back to the present. And then we're going to go to the High Evolutionary now, where Groot and Peter go up to meet with the High Evolutionary. And High Evolutionary kind of stops them for a while, like just won't talk to them. Because he's either, I forget what it is he eating food or is he listening to music? I forget which one it is.
Listening to music.
Yeah, I think he was listening to music. And then when he eventually starts talking to them, he starts kind of explaining his spiel, and that was a pretty good line from Pete where he's like, "I don't care."
He mentioned that he went to Earth one time.
He said he went to Earth one time. Some of the best music and literature and art of anywhere else in the galaxy.
Yeah,
but he clearly liked Earth.
He did.
Yeah. But yeah. So kind of gives a spiel, and Pete's like, "I don't care about whatever caused you to be this way or what makes you this way. I don't give a shit." And Hadley's like, "I'm not here to conquer the universe. I'm just going to perfect it." And then we cut back to Drax and Mantis because they stayed behind. Where Drax fucking arm bars a dude off his bike. Gets on the bike.
Decides.
Yeah.
Says, "Yeah, we're going."
Yeah, we're going. Gets on the bike, drives away. And then at this point, Aisha and Adam Warlock show up, start causing a little bit of shit for Gamora because one of the like, I think it's the pig robot, whatever the fuck, goes off to the Bowie to try to get Rocket because that's all High Evolutionary's thing. He wants Rocket because Rocket is smarter than him. Which I think we might as well just go right into that final flashback because it's an extended one.
Rocket has the solutions to everything he needs.
Rocket has the solution to everything he needs. And the High Evolutionary genuinely could not fathom that this being that he thought was lower than him could understand something that he could not and was smarter than him.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely couldn't fathom it. And then, yeah, that leads, he's like, "Oh, you thought you were going to the new utopia? No, I'm going to harvest your brain and feed on your knowledge. The rest of them, like, get rid of them."
He was like, "Look at you.
Yeah, it's like, you're a
hideous.
Monster. You're a hideous monster."
Yeah, really, really just shatters Rocket's whole world and everything he
Rocket gets back into his cage, and he's like, "All right, we got to get out of here. Like, we're not going to the utopia. He's going to kill us all." So he grabs all the shit that he's been kleptoing around and forges what we thought was a key card or something is like a slicer.
Yeah, some kind of disabler for the
Yep. Slices through the gate mechanism, gets them out. He frees Lila first. They kind of embrace. And the High Evolutionary kills Lila. Right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
This is the scene where I start fucking bawling.
Ooh.
And it's not because particularly Lila died. Like they had red shirts on. Right? It was Rocket's scream. I'm pretty sure that was Bradley Cooper doing the voice of the younger Rocket in that scene because there was it was 2 or 3 different Rocket voice actors.
3 different one.
Yeah, one for baby, one for like a younger one, and then Bradley Cooper does the one for the older one, and then the one, of course, the Rocket in the present.
Okay.
I think there is either 1 or 2 different Rocket voice actors.
I was positive that it was just 2, baby and Bradley doing
like the other ones,
like preteen, teen, adult.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I believe he's that talented.
Yeah. Well, they also are very much using voice modification on him. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That scream from Rocket, where he just starts screaming and crying. And then you have Floor going, Rocketief's floor, go now. Rocketief's floor, go now. Rocketief's floor, go now. Just like panicking. I was just fucking sobbing.
And I'm pretty sure Teefs was
uncontrollably. Yeah, and Teefs was like urging Rocket to like stop, like let's go, like, no, get back in the cage, get back in the cage, Rocket, back in the cage. Man, that scene fucking broke me. I was actually like in fucking tears. Yeah, and it was right when Rocket started fucking screaming.
You and everyone else in the theater.
And then what got me even more was fucking High Evolutionary going, his little stop fucking crying, bitch. That's not what he said.
Yeah. Also, I guess we should point out the reason why Evolutionary was there to shoot them is because he figured
that Rocket would do that.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't figure what would happen next.
Out of pure fucking rage and agony, Rocket pounces on the High Evolutionary and starts scratching in his face. I just have to applaud to James Gunn for the way he shot that scene. I don't think he could have picked a more perfect way to shoot that scene. Where the Rocket just starts scratching at his face.
It zooms into his mouth.
Yeah, like the rapid cutting where like you don't see the violence, but you just hear it. What? A+ filmmaking there.
Raccoons are hardcore.
Yeah.
Points if you get that reference.
Yeah. Also, in that still scene, you still hear Floor going, Rocket, Teefs, Floor, go now. But then you also hear Teefs going, Rocket, stop! Rocket, no! And then 2 of the High Evolutionary's guards come in, shoot at Rocket. They miss. Rocket shoots both of them, kills them.
Yeah, he grabs the High Evolutionary's gun.
Yeah, grabs the High Evolutionary's gun to kill them. First time he ever shoots a gun, as far as we know.
Yep. He's very good.
Yeah. Uh-huh. As Rocket looks to the side, sees Teefs and Floor dead on the ground. And then he makes a run for it, gets into a ship, and flies off like he said he would.
Yeah.
I know you have problems with the scene. Go for it.
Yeah, I basically just took issue with how bad at aiming the guard suddenly became. Like Rocket's first time shooting a gun, he hits 2 guards point blank, but they miss Rocket and hit his friends by accident. I'm sure that there's another way that I could have executed this for those 2, but I understand why I kind of understand why they did it like that, because they wanted to really get it in the heat of the moment where after Lila got killed too, I know they wanted to get it there, and have everything weigh in with the characters, with Teefs and Floor reacting to everything. I get it. Just
it has to not be Rocket's fault.
Yeah, I just wasn't always satisfied with how it went, And like you mentioned, Rocket was getting away, and then they just holy shit, he missed every shot. Oh my god, kind of got me, kind of irritated me. I'm really surprised that Rocket got away through from all that. But yeah, like it just, I guess, to echo some of what you said, yeah, that scene was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it all comes down to like the direction, the acting from everybody, the way they choose to shoot it. Yeah, yeah, that scene got me really hard. Yeah, man, that scene was just so tough to watch, and I'm gonna like be thinking about that for a long time. That scene has really stuck with me. I think it is because of Rocket's just reaction to it, like that scream from him, really makes it.
Top 10 scenes to live in my head rent free.
Yeah, that's the real big takeaway, because that's the last flashback in the movie.
Yeah.
After that, we're back into the present for the rest of it. But yeah, we get back into the present, and at this point, you fucking hate the High Evolutionary. If you didn't already hate him, you like loathe him. At this point,
Yeah.
which I guess if you want, because this is where I stop liking the High Evolutionary.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I think as a villain, the High Evolutionary is one of the best in the MCU, just bar none.
Mm-hmm.
He's still kind of a shit villain.
He's the best in this Green Goblin.
Yeah. I think where he works is he's so easily hateable. Like, he's just a purely evil villain. There is no redeeming qualities to him at all, which is refreshing. It's really refreshing.
What I really like about it is his commitment towards his goals, and how passionate he is about all of them. I think that's a lot of that is due to the actor.
Yeah, Chukwudi Ewuji does such a great job. Like, if you weren't looking for him after Peacemaker, you're looking for him now. Like, you're really looking for what he's gonna do next, because he really knocks it out of the park in this role. Yeah, but for me, he just ends up becoming a villain that just screams a lot and doesn't really have a whole lot of presence.
What would that be?
What do you mean?
Oh, I mean, I was looking for a reason. like what when would you go like Levi?
He just screams a lot, pretty much through the entire final act of the movie.
Okay.
He doesn't, yeah. He's got some good lines in there, and I just get like the character, but I don't know.
He just didn't feel like any of that was justified, or like he just loses his mind.
He just lost his mind, and I stopped becoming interested in the character anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't into him after that point. I think I did write something.
I think I'm actually bound to agree with you at that point, because he really does just become that.
He really does just become. He just kind of devolves. He just starts screaming a lot.
From going like, I'm not sure if I could. I'm trying to see if I can justify it. Giving everything.
Like, outside of that, the character's just shallow. Like, he works because he's shallow, but it is a problem. Like, there's not really much to him, but he works for that same reason. It's kind of a double-edged sword.
I think him being one-dimensional is just as fine as it is.
Yeah, because it's really all you need to know about him is that he's just a piece of shit.
Nothing wrong with a one-dimensional character.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, great example of this. Fucking flame me all you want. Dio. Dio's pretty one-dimensional. There's things to him that you can try to find sympathetic in him. All of that goes away after part 1 of JoJo. In part 3 of JoJo, he is just a fucking maniacal asshole. And I love him for it. He's amazing.
Like Yagami. Yagami is one of the most one-dimensional characters of all time, but he's great.
Sure, yeah. Like, there are great villains that are one-dimensional. No fucking doubt about it. I think the High Evolutionary isn't quite in that category. There isn't a whole lot to him, and because of what he devolves into, it kind of hurts him a lot. But it's nothing do not state how good the actor is in the role
Although
and how easily fucking hateable he is.
you did like really make it sound a lot better when you talked about his mentality about him being so taken aback by how much smarter Rocket is.
Yeah, that's the motivation. Like, right,
That's
I
a lot.
understand. Like, I understand what they're doing with him. There are things to him, but there aren't much outside of that, and especially into that third act, he just becomes the maniacal villain, and he starts screaming all the time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you want to kind of take over from me a little bit. My throat kind of hurts. I'll be real.
Oh, shit. Where were we?
We're still in the High Evolutionist Tower. He's just on his spiel. Peter doesn't give two fucks.
Yeah, I can't recall much of what happened during all of that, but but we do get the payoff as to why Peter gave Groot the gun. Oh, I guess we should fucking mention.
Oh yeah, we should mention the other doctor.
They are there to retrieve one of the doctor's I guess like data from their brain so they can find a way because the way to heal Rocket isn't there.
He has the kill switch.
Yeah, he has the kill switch to help save Rocket, and he is there in the room with them. And once they need to do what they need to do, Rocket, Groot, and Star-Lord pull out the guns from Groot. And,
that line, by the way, from Pete, Groot, kill them all.
Kill them all. Which, yeah, shit. I can tell at this point he does not give a shit.
He did not give a shit.
No, I don't blame him. The people there are like really awful people.
Yeah. The movie does not make any attempt to make them sympathetic. No, really does not.
Especially with what happens next.
Yeah.
But yeah, Groot and Star start killing everybody in the room.
Yep. And at the same time, Gamora.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Arnold Mullock's there too, just fighting Gamora. But oh shit, I guess you forgot before that, like in between that, basically, before they started shooting the place up,
there's a lot happening in this sequence.
High Evolutionary basically nukes the whole planet. Like
because Pete brings up a good point.
Yeah, Pete brings up a good point. Your planet is flawed. Yeah, your planet is flawed, and High is like, yeah, I know. So I started blasting.
So anyways,
yeah.
He literally hit him with the oh no. So
anyways, he pushed the button to blow that shit up. It turns out the tower that he was in is also a spaceship. He can fly up in the air, and yeah, that's as the ship starts to go off, the planet is blowing up. Star-Lord and Star-Lord and Groot shoot the place up like I mentioned, and after they clear the whole room, also
except for the one scientist they need.
Yeah, as the High Evolutionary is leaving, Groot and Star-Lord do blow up a piece of the room up so the High Evolutionary can't get in. He's trapped on the other side. So that gives Groot and Star-Lord time to get the scientist, throw him out of a window.
Yep.
And this is quite a plan that they have.
It's a very Peter Quill plan.
It's fucking crazy, which I'll bring up later. Yeah. Peter and Groot jump off the fucking window of the ship that's flying up in the air, so they're getting higher and higher. Like they're like what, almost near orbit at that point, like that. But like they're
not near orbit, but they are getting.
But like they're high in the fucking air. Yeah, they're falling down. Peter gets a hold of the scientist. Meanwhile, falling down. I think the scientist says something like, "You'll kill us all. You'll kill us both." And he's like, "No, it's just you." Because Groot from behind grabs Star-Lord by the waist, and he becomes somewhat of a semi-glider.
Yeah, he literally hits him with the falling with style.
Yeah, so he becomes a Fortnite glider.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's enough to cushion to slow the fall down, but it's just enough for the scientist to get fucked up and like drag his whole body through the dirt to a field. And before landing, drown him to like a little stream going on, and I mean the blood, him falling down just killed him already. He got Gwen Stacy'd.
Yeah,
just
Gwen Stacy times a million.
yeah, that was enough. And yeah, with that they pick up his memories and whatever they need for the rocket thing. But meanwhile, like during all that, Gamora is sitting with Adam Warlock, and one of the guards that were stopping Nebula and Peter in the entrance of the High Evolutionary Tower. It was like this hideous pig looking creature, that like cybernetics like spider legs and shit. It was terrible. That pig also went to get a rocket, which that robot and Adam Warlock do come to blows, and Adam Warlock quickly takes care of that cyborg pig, and yeah, Gamora and Adam Warlock do tussle, and your favorite scene in the movie, I presume, is when Gamora grabs his little pet.
That's later.
Oh, that's later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are you at?
We're not even in the third act. We're at the end of the second.
Okay. Oh, that is later. Shit, I thought it was the same scene.
No.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Gamora goes out of her way to protect Rocket. My man is getting thrown around by that point because they grab him a lot. Yeah, Adam Warlock shows up, like I mentioned, yeah, his Adam Warlock's mother is all the way in the back while the planet's getting blown up.
Yeah.
He tries to go and save her, but
Too late.
An explosion. Too late. An explosion. She's dead, and he gets blown back by the explosion back into the ship, I believe.
Uh,
I have to recall me there. He like something fucks him up, or not. I'm wrong. No, he escapes the planet.
he escapes the planet, but he gets on the Bowie.
Yeah, he does get on the Bowie, but he escapes the planet regardless. And yeah, Gamora is trying to figure out how to fucking after that fight, Gamora gets on the cockpit on the pilot seat, is trying to figure out how to fly the Bowie. She calls Peter, trying to ask him how the fuck does pilot this thing? It's like a Wii remote. Yeah, she has no idea how to use it, and he's like trying to explain it to her, but you could say she figures it out, whatever. Yeah. Not really. She's flying the ship while also crashing into everything as much as she can. And yeah, she does eventually get to Peter.
But at this point, Nebula,
yeah.
Mantis, and Drax.
Yeah, I was gonna get there. Yeah, Nebula, Mantis, and Drax. Yeah. She's like, Nebula was calling trying to communicate with Drax and Nebula because she would have thought that they were in the ship, but no, they weren't. They were right behind her the whole time while the ship was flying up, and she looks at them like, oh, you fucking kidding me? So yeah, they have to run to the ship to have a Ewuji's tower ship before it flies away, and they just barely managed to get on it. Yeah, managed to get through like a enough space for like a hatch door that's closed, unfortunately. So they're like hang in there as the ship is flying up into orbit, and they are running out of air. So they need to bust that door open. Yeah. But meanwhile, I was gonna skip back to Gamora and Peter. Yeah, meanwhile, Gamora finally reaches Peter, and Groot nearly fucking crashes into them, or like sort of just runs them over with it. But luckily, she hit the brakes quick enough. Mm-hmm. And she picks Groot and Peter up, and they're flying up. I think something happens where Peter's asking, "Where the fuck are you guys?" to Nebula, Drax, and Mantis. I can't recall what they said. I think it was along the lines of...
They went straight for Rocket.
Oh yeah, they did help Rocket. Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Rocket because they had the thing and they needed to do this now.
Right. You want to? I feel like you can do just this injustice more than I can.
Yeah. So they get Rocket on the bench on the med bay, and they start trying to get the code in. It starts to work, but then it stops.
Yeah, the code is going in too slow.
It's going in too slow. It's not going to be enough time. Cut to Rocket, who is... He's definitely having like a near-death experience. He sees the afterlife, and he sees Lila. At this point, as soon as we get that, as soon as Rocket is on that bench and he's in fucking the afterlife or whatever. Yeah, I'm like a fucking mess at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just an absolute fucking mess. When he sees Lila, I'm losing my goddamn mind. And he just starts crying. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's like, I did this. This is my fault. He's like, no,
Yeah,
it's not your fault.
Holy
And
shit, Bradley Cooper was slaying it in.
he was so good. And Lila's like, no, of course this isn't your fault. Like I've been flying. Like you were right about the sky. It's beautiful. We've been flying with, me and my friends have been flying. And he sees Teefs and Floor. And Rocket says, can I come too? And at this point, Rocket's kind of gone. Like at this point, he's kind of dead. And Peter starts freaking out. Like just actually starts fucking like freaking out. And Gamora's like, he's gone. Like Peter, he's gone. And Quillen goes, I am not letting him go. And I think with just that line alone, you kind of got everything that he was saying. Like you kind of understand, like you kind of flash back to everything he's gone through in these movies, everything he's lost. He is not willing to lose Rocket. And it even goes back a bit to like Guardians 2 when Rocket says, I can only afford to lose one friend today.
Yeah.
Like the connection these characters have with each other is so like strong. Like Peter was not ready to lose. He was not willing to lose Rocket at that moment. And his scream that he gives out in that moment kind of even echoes Rocket's when he lost Lila.
Yeah.
Rocket's like ready to go, but Lila's like, you can come, but not yet. He's like, why? He's like, you still have a purpose. He's like, what purpose do I serve? I'm just a monster, And she's like, your purpose, what was it? The hand that created you is not the hand that guides you. This was your story all along. You just didn't know it. And she calls him, it's like, my beloved raccoon. And she hugs him. And I'm still a mess. And he goes, I'm not a raccoon. Boom, gets sent right back. He wakes up. He's all fine. And Peter just immediately fucking hugs him. And then Groot hugs him too. And I am uncontrollably sobbing. That is the scene that I would have said got me the most, but there's one other scene that got me more. But yeah, any thoughts on this particular scene?
Oh yeah, no, I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
I think it
Very
really
clearly
got
you did not cry, but
no, but yeah, they get me in the heartstrings. Yeah, I think it's a very poignant scene that says a lot about Rocket and even Peter to an extent. As it goes from him in the afterlife to Peter trying to bring him back.
Yeah,
I think it's a very effective scene.
Very
good.
Such an effective scene.
It is, although it feels kind of like a ripoff of Deathly Hallows Part 2, where Harry Potter is like visiting Voldemort. It reminds me of that. Mm-hmm. But I like this better. Yeah, no, it was very good. I loved it. I keep talking about people in the Met Theater. Looking around, I'm like, oh shit, you guys are damn.
Yeah, but it wasn't a disrespectful like damn.
No,
I was like, no, I get it. I get it.
I didn't say anything. I was more like, I was just curious to look at people.
Yeah, just seeing what the energy was.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I definitely heard, like for me, my theater. The laughs were huge, but the quiet moments and like the emotional moments was where people shut the fuck up.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I heard a few sobs and they're like
I didn't hear any sobs, but I definitely heard some sniffles.
Yeah.
And if anybody started listening or looking to me, they would have seen me an absolute goddamn wreck. I should have brought tissues, dog. I walked out of that theater so stuffy. But yeah,
Thinking about it now.
yeah.
That little sniffle of yours, like, oh.
Yeah, after that, we get to Rocket's fine. Finally, communication is brought up between Nebula, Mantis, and Drax, and then the crew, which we might as well jump into them because we actually spend a tiny bit of time with them for a little while before we get back to them. So I think this is the moment you want to cover. The conversation I've been dreading.
Specifically, remind me.
When they're in the High Evolutionary ship with the kids.
Yeah. During all that, Drax, they're trying to break it to the door. And yeah, like you said, Drax breaks into it. And Nebula, she was into Drax, like, yeah, she shoots into him. But Mantis is like trying to like, getting upset a little bit. And she ends up calling him stupid, which it hurts Drax's feelings. And they do it a few more times, calling him stupid, and yeah, and by that point,
she does say something important in that scene, though. She says that that Drax is the only person who accepts who he is and doesn't hate himself.
Yeah.
Which actually says a lot about Mantis too.
She does dig into Nebula for like lashing out on people a lot because that's kind of like Nebula's problem throughout the movie. She's very judgmental. She lashes out on people, very judgmental, very quick to anger. Which I like that about her. I just learning that lesson. Yeah. But I don't like what happens afterwards. So yeah, after Drax, was called stupid, and Mantis knows this. I've offended him a little bit. He erases his memory of his memory of that moment, and Drax just goes back to, good thing my incredible strength broke that door down. I think that's quite terrible. I don't think I can emphasize quite how strange it felt for me to watch it in theater and be like, you really just did that. It just feels very manipulative and really out of character for Mantis. And I don't know, I find it very odd that Drax, of all people, will get offended because he was called stupid. Like, I never saw him as a sensitive type. Like, he himself being someone who was very overt and plain about everything he says and what people say to him, even if he himself may misunderstand some things, like him being offended because he was called stupid. Like, not, I'm saying like offended, like he was like gotta be driven to the point of tears. And he's like someone who like is with Peter, Rocket, people who question his choices a lot. Like are pretty clear about him not being like quite all up there. But like him getting offended. Like I guess. But then Mantis erased that part of his memory. Like that feels so, it really is. I think it's really disingenuous, dishonest, and just really manipulative and it's kind of a terrible thing for her to do. And also, I didn't know she could do that. She could erase people's memories. Where was that when she could have deleted Thanos' memories? Of hey, don't destroy half the universe. Ugh. Yeah, I can't help but just see Mantis as anything but a really manipulative person after this. It's feels quite terrible. Kind of hate it. That's my 2 big take on it thus far. What do you think?
Yeah, it's fucked up. I yeah, it's really, it is messed up when you think about it. What she does there, that was not enough for me to say they ruined her character, or that I dislike her from now on. That's, can't say that. So that's how I feel.
Fair enough. I expected a little bit more pushback on that, but yeah, hey, does that? Hey, there we go.
I mean, what do you really want me to say?
No, I just somehow thought you'd be okay with it. I thought you were getting it to the point where you would be like you'd disagree with me on those points, but yeah, okay. There's that. Why'd you dread it so much?
I did not want. I thought I would have more feelings about it. I'm now realizing I don't have feelings. So
Okay. More feelings about it in a positive way towards the scene or negatively? Like
either way,
okay. You didn't really care for it?
yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know what's interesting about it.
I don't think it like I don't think an assassin is a character, but I really do think it like does some pretty big damage. Like to her, to mental level people for doing that. It's like So yeah, after that she really just came out as the weakest character for me throughout the whole movie. Like somehow lower than Groot. But yeah, that's my take on that scene. I hated it.
Yeah, there's other stuff that happens in the scene too.
Yeah, they well, yeah, they meet like you said, like you mentioned before. They meet the kids. Or do we mention the part where High Evolutionary was like in one of the a room, and he had like this sort of hamster wheel
Oh,
and like
yeah, we did
some
not
kind of
mention that scene.
laboratory. Yeah, we didn't mention that. High Evolutionary was basically testing out his new the new species that he created, a new evolutionary set of beings that are basically everything he wants, like or to the point because it's a girl running through like up and down through like some hamster wheel, like around in a circle, like a loop de loop. Uh, and while all that's happening, he's like basically relishing in the moment that he created something like a very specimen that because that girl was there running for like 5 hours without getting tired, and also commenting on how some kids did some really impressive super science mathy stuff like in a matter of minutes or seconds,
But
like some really
they weren't as smart as Rocket.
yeah, not as smart as Rocket. Yeah, that was like a setup for that, and turns out that the room that Drax, Nebula, and Mantis broke into to get out of orbit was a room with cages full of those children. And at that point, basically the objective of the film changes in a way, because right now, Gamora, Groot, Rocket, and Peter have to try and find a way to get Nebula, Drax, and Mantis out of the ship, out of there until basically everything changes because they mention that there are now a bunch of kids in these cages.
You did almost forget one thing.
I probably did.
When Rocket notices that, like, oh, Nebula's making a call, they finally make connection. Peter kind of tells him what's going on. Like, he's like, oh, where have you guys been? Why are you guys on the ship? Blah, 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 blah. Rocket says something on the comms. And immediately, hearing Rocket's voice, Nebula starts fucking crying.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, no, that moment is great. That moment is, like, perfect.
Really shows how much Nebula cares about these people now.
Well, it's also another thing. After, like, Infinity War, and Rocket probably spent more time with Nebula,
Yeah.
than any of the other Guardians. You notice he asks for her.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, where's Nebula? So that number one shows
Man,
how much she
thinking
cares
about
about
it.
everybody. That shows how much she cares about Rocket.
I'm thinking about it. I'm wishing. I'm wishing that Endgame spent more time on that.
Yeah.
Huh. What a missed opportunity.
For as long as that movie is.
Yeah. Right. If only there were scenes that you cut out of the film entirely. Oh well. But yeah, good thing you mentioned that. It was a pretty great scene too. I was gonna say something too, but I kind of lost my mind, lost track of it.
Yeah, they get caught by the High Evolutionary, and Pete's like, "All right, we're gonna go get this guy, but we're gonna go get Mantis, Nebula, and Rocket, and Drax. They get captured. They get put into this kind of like cell with the kids around them, and
Yeah.
they're speaking this language that Nebula nor Mantis understand. Nebula's trying to tell them like, "Hey, go get to this spaceport because we're gonna get, it's like you don't want to be there when this all goes down, or like we got to get you out of here." She doesn't understand what they're saying, but Drax does.
Question: was it this scene or the scene prior to that when they like get into the like meet the kids in the cages? Was it that scene where? Because I think it might be worth mentioning. The scene where Drax comforts the kids after Nebula made them cry. That's worth mentioning, right?
That's the scene I'm talking about right now.
Oh, that's the scene. Okay.
Yeah, Nebula screams at them, makes them cry. Drax comforts them by being a dad.
He did a monkey.
Makes a lot of silly monkey noises. Yeah.
It wasn't a monkey. That was so funny for like. It was like the opposite of a monkey.
A weird sound.
Yeah.
He's like, "Is that what a monkey sounds like?" I don't know.
Yeah, like you say, he can speak the language, and Nebula was like, "How come you can speak the language? You never asked."
It's very Drax, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's very Drax though. Of course, Drax
still
won't fucking say anything unless.
But like, so he could have done it like before.
He could have done it, but like, of course he wouldn't fucking say anything unless somebody asked him.
No, he could have spoken the language like before they got captured. Is what I'm saying. Like the scene where they first meet the kids. They could have done it there.
But like that, like, why did you say anything? You didn't ask.
Why didn't you do it in the first place? That's my issue with it. Not that they didn't ask. It was just that he didn't do it in the first place. But I guess they wanted a surprise out of it.
Yeah. Also, Drax is a little dumb sometimes.
He speaks plain, at the very least.
Yeah. And after this point, I think we're in final act territory at this point.
We're in third act territory, yes, indeed.
Yeah. They all get in their ships. All right, they got the big plan. We cut back to nowhere where they're all playing cards with Howard the Duck. They're playing cards with Howard the Duck. Kraglin still refuses to call Cosmo a good dog.
Also, this I don't know if it bothered me. It was just strange to me. Remember that guy in Guardians 1 that Peter tries to sell the orb to in the first place? Like
he made it out of Xandar.
He made it. How the hell did he make it out? Because
I don't know if he was on there when Thanos fucking obliterated it, but
of course, yeah, of course. Like we don't know if he wasn't there. No, we didn't see the place get destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm just there wondering, did James Gunn forget that Xander was destroyed, or is this guy really just survive out of everyone else?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think James Gunn forgot that Xandar was destroyed. But I don't know. Yeah, that guy that plays him is also one of his friends, so that's cameo number 8 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. So maybe it was just a fuck it, put him in there.
Yeah, fuck it, cameo time. But yeah, Quill's like, all right, Raglan, we need you to take Nowhere over here because we need you to kind of take some. We need to get some people off this ship. They start the final battle, right? Rocket is in his own ship, and Quill and Gamora on another ship that happens to have Adam Warlock on it. And then we get my favorite line in the movie. Yeah, he starts to fuck shit up. Gamora picks up the little fizz gig and goes, one more step and this creepy thing gets it. But what's funnier about it is that right before she says that, Adam Warlock walks in and screams. Like full throated, full anger. She picks it up, puts the knife to it, and he goes, "Don't be rash."
Love your rush.
Yeah, holds up his hand and just, "Don't be rash."
Also, issue. Right here, issue.
Yes, the window breaks
so,
and they're in
yeah,
space
the
and
window
they're not
breaks
getting
and then like, yeah, what the fuck? That was strange. That didn't just happen for that. It happened for like Rocket's ship when like he was
for
attacked.
rockets, yeah.
Peter's also probably, I don't know. But like, that's not how space works.
Nope. And then we get the first time we hear the Guardians theme. Wow, yay.
Yeah, wow.
The score in this movie sucks.
Oh, I'll take. I don't know, probably.
Probably not much of a hot take at all, but I don't
I
think the
just
score
say
in
I
this
don't.
movie's very good. I think
I mean, I
it's a
don't
little
think.
harsh to say it sucks, but
I was gonna say I don't think anyone really cares about the score for this movie.
no.
I think that's pretty telling, honestly.
It's a very lame score. John Murphy is a good composer. He's done some good stuff, but this score did not fit with the film at all. The only scenes where like it worked was in like the very emotional scenes where like the music really kicked in.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. The score for this movie is really lame. It
Nothing
really
memorable.
it really does take us back to the fucking phase 1 and 2 days where the MCU music was really lame.
Thor 1 days.
Yeah, like the Thor 1, Incredible Hulk, Thor the Dark World days were like
Because
music was not
I think I do like the Iron Man 1 soundtrack.
It's okay.
It was nothing like bro, it was amazing. But you know, it's just the dun, 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 dun. I remember it. It was nice. It was cool. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the score for this movie's not great. Does not.
Haven't been very great in a while, like since like No Way Home, right? Haven't been. Oh wait, Black Panther 2. I was gonna say like I haven't been very good for a while, but like Black Panther 2 had a pretty good score.
Yeah. Even some of the TV shows had like decent music.
Yeah, so I guess it's just been Ant-Man 3 and Guardians 3.
Yeah.
But oh wait, Eternals. What about that?
Eternals had okay music. Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, it was good stuff. It was Ramin Djawadi, so. Yeah. A lot of this final act is kind of a blur because it's a lot of just action and big CG.
Boy, sure is.
Most notable stuff. Mantis, Drax, and Nebula are thrown into like a pit where there's a bunch of I think they're called obelisks or abelisks. The like the weird creature you saw at the beginning of Guardians 2 that shoots out rainbows or whatever the fuck. Mantis is able to use her empathic abilities to kind of calm them and just feel what they're feeling, and then kind of get them ready to go.
Turns out they don't actually eat people.
No,
they just eat batteries.
Yeah, which is what they were. I think they even say that in Guardians 2 that they were feeding on the batteries.
Yeah, that's why they were there, to stop them from eating on the batteries.
Yeah,
they just want their batteries, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, Pete, Gamora, and Rocket finally make it onto like the bridge where they're supposed to like start their thing, and then Mantis, Drax, and Nebula show up on the obelisks. They're like, "Hey, there's a bunch of kids on this ship. We need to get them out of here." And at that moment, they cut to Rocket, who's kind of disassociating for a second. Hears that like there's kids in danger, there's animals in danger, and he goes, "I'm done running," and he just goes right towards the fight.
Yeah, everyone else is pretty driven onto going and helping Rocket and helping the kids. All except Gamora. It doesn't take her much convincing, honestly. Everyone goes along, so she regardlessly goes, "Fuck, fine."
This is a bad time to come in, Sebastian. I just want to let you know that.
I've seen the movie.
Oh, when did you see it?
Thursday.
Oh, you did not say that.
Wow, I thought I did.
No, you did not mention that at all.
Well, I've seen it.
Well,
you can't spoil it.
All right. Well, we're in the final areas of it. But yeah, cue Beastie Boys. And then we get my favorite action scene in the movie.
The best action scene in the movie.
The best action scene in the movie, the hallway fight.
Yeah, boy.
Like some of Gunn's best camera work. Very CGI stitched together, but works really well. I guess Sebastian, since you're here, how did you feel about the hallway action scene?
I think it was the best fight scene, but I also think it clearly knew it was going to be. Like, it didn't try to hide the fact that he was like, yeah, this is going to be the best action scene.
I'm going to put my whole goodnessy into this one. That's probably what he thought. I'm putting words in his mouth.
Clearly off with something else. Talking about him like that.
Yeah, the opposite of their Harley Quinn fight in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. The thing I like most about that fight is that all the Guardians get a moment in that fight to do something.
Yeah, even the little weird creature that's there.
Yeah, little Fizzgig. It has a name. I just don't remember it.
Little Milton. Little Milton.
Little Milton.
That's the scene that reminded me of. Remember when the Suicide Squad is walking in the white rain?
For some reason, it was white. Just there.
He's just there. What the fuck? And then the little freak little creature is just there too. I don't know why he's there. He's just there.
He's just there.
He's just there.
James Gunn loves his wacky little dudes.
Yeah.
The wacky little dude. Look at him, little Milton going. And this hand, he doesn't die. Thank God.
No, the little creature doesn't die.
How else are they gonna merchandise him? Nobody wants to buy a toy of a little dead monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, they clear the hallway. Everything's all good. They're gonna go get the kids. They all kind of split up. Rocket goes to kind of get some of the other kids that are on the side. Notices that there's still some animals, including some baby raccoons. I'm gonna take a swig of water. Ernest, you take this one.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I think like during all that. Wait, did Nowhere come in yet? I'm trying to remember.
Oh yeah, Nowhere did come in. Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, Nowhere came in and the High Evolutionary sent out his defenses and the Guardian, and of course the Guardians crashed into the hangar, which led to the hallway scene. And during all that, High Evolutionary is up in the cockpit losing his fucking shit, all to the point where his subordinates, his staff, are all like starting to turn against him, and it really does get to that point because they start a revolt. They're gonna turn on him. It avails it really has no avail because Evolutionary pulls a Vegeta and blows the whole room up.
Blows that motherfucker up.
Blows the motherfucker up, and something just snaps.
Something inside of me.
I mean, like, we say that, but that's really what happened.
That's really what happened. Yeah.
It just snapped into him, and he just blew the fucking place
up. He kind of pulled a Cyberman.
He did.
Yeah.
Although, it's brief, but something I really appreciate about the High Evolutionary, and his right-hand scientist lady is that, like, it was way before that, but like, I really liked it when he screamed into her face, and she had like this scowl, like she was getting very frustrated. I just like the acting there, like from her. Something about that, like, said a lot to me. I liked it. It was brief, but like it was whatever. Like I liked it. So yeah, he blows that fucking room up. And after that, I'm pretty sure like you mentioned, the Guardians are breaking the kids out of the cages, and Mantis is going to see final one leave, and it's just this hideous, tiny little abomination parasite.
Cameo,
what the fuck
cameo
was that?
number 9. That was Pete Davidson. That was Pete Davidson.
Really?
Yeah, that little fucking creature that just goes, "Oh, thanks for coming to get me." Yeah, that was Pete Davidson. And he's also like a weird ape sapien fish man looking thing later.
He looked like fucking Mojo.
Yeah.
From X-Men. Maybe that's him for all I know. Jesus. And yeah. So yeah, Nowhere gets there. Nebula goes up to the cockpit to trying to like put the ship closer to nowhere, but it's not working out very well because the whole place got destroyed. So she's got to connect like through the cables, like to like the tiniest hole that she can find with, because she's a cyborg, and she's like manually controlling the ship to tilt it so it can like just collide slightly with nowhere so that they can have like enough space for them to get the kids over, because they don't have any ships, they don't really have much to use, so they just have to basically throw the kids onto a platform on nowhere. Yeah, she's holding it steady, and the plan is working very well. Meanwhile, Rocket is guiding the kids out also, but then he notices a very familiar room that he can help to go to, and it's basically right where it all started for him, where he was taken as a little baby raccoon because he sees a lot of raccoons in the cage. He's getting a little emotional, but then he looks at the I think it was I don't know a
it's like
label on the cage. Yeah, like a label on the
he
cage.
opens the cage to then kind of grab
yep.
the baby raccoons. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's reading it, he's seeing it, and he says,
Right. He doesn't say anything, but he
raccoon.
reads it.
Oh yeah, he doesn't say anything. I mean sees.
Yeah.
He sees the words raccoon.
Yeah. Finally, acknowledging
Finally.
what he is. Yeah.
You're a raccoon, bro.
He's pulling his full circle story that he accepts what he is.
Yeah, I really love that.
I love that scene because at first I was like, okay, why are we taking time away from this? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is great. And then right at that fucking moment, High Evolutionary storms in screaming. Yeah. It's like, how dare you? Throws him around for a little while. It's like, oh, subject 89P13. Who do you think you are? And we get the coldest line in this whole fucking movie. Rocket puts down the gravity boots, goes down, he goes, I'm Rocket. Rocket Raccoon. And just blasts that motherfucker into my second favorite fight scene in the movie, where every single one of the Guardians hands him his ass. And I shit you not, I wanted to cheer when they all just started beating on him one by one.
Wait a minute. They all started beating on him.
Yeah, that was just so fucking satisfying, seeing every single one of the Guardians just take a shot at him.
It was straight up. Let him get up. Let him get up. Yeah, fight back.
Let him get up. Fight back. Fight back.
Fight back. Fight back.
Because you notice it's like a continuous movement too. Drax fucking throws him. Quill fucking shoots him out the air, which leads into Mantis throwing him. It leads into Nebula shooting his ass right into Gamora, where she stabs him.
Yeah.
And then she peels off his face.
Mm-hmm.
Leading into the actually most grotesque thing in the entire movie.
Yeah.
God
the boss for that.
Damn. That shit, when they cut to his like destroyed face, I'm like, holy shit. This is some fucked up shit. I hope there's no kids in my audience.
Raccoons are hardcore, man. Yeah. It's really a face I would have seen like Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, and it was not like that at all.
It was not. No. It was there instead.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Rocket chooses not to kill him.
Yeah, High Evolutionary. Before that, High Evolutionary really lets it out, saying, "All I wanted to do was just perfect the universe." What does Rocket say? It was something really cool.
He says, "You didn't want to make things perfect. You just hated things the way they were."
Yeah. And yeah, he doesn't kill him. Why?
Why? Because I'm a freaking Guardian of the Galaxy. The worst justification for that act, I just want to say.
I mean, he's gonna blow up and die anyway.
They don't show us his body, but that motherfucker blew up.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well, like, I don't know. He's not having a great time there.
We forgot on Nowhere. Some of like the Hellspawn or whatever they were called Hellspawn, get into Nowhere and start attacking the people. Kraglin gets down there, tries to help them. He still can't figure out the fin arrow. until he sees Yondu and hears him say, "Use your heart, boy."
That was such a. That's the weirdest cameo in the movie. He's just standing
I
there.
was happy seeing Yondu again.
My
It was.
mom made an audible "aww."
Um, but yeah,
But
Sebastian, I'll just make it known so you can call me a bitch. I cried like 4 times in this movie.
Really?
Yep,
My mom cried like once.
stronger than me apparently. And for me, it's an animal cruelty thing. There's a good portion of it.
Mm.
Um,
I don't like that they do the fake death.
Fucking thank you so much. I thought it was crazy. They do it so much in this fucking movie. It's kind of annoying, but yeah.
I'm just talking about in movies in general. I don't like the they flatline, they're dead. They're
Oh,
alive.
they did like 4 times in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That was I had a section of that talking about like, how I kind of hated it. It was kind of cowardly throughout the whole movie. Like, oh, they're gonna die. They're gonna no, they're fine. It's fine. They're fine.
You're wrong. They're fine.
They're fine. Don't worry about it. I know the music. I know the
Don't
music
be
was going like
scared.
crazy.
Nah,
The
they're
first
fine.
thing. Yeah, nope. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Nope, they're alive.
A little more egregious and what's coming up soon.
yeah.
But
Yeah, they're all rushing to get off the
Oh
ship.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
all
you know what I
rushing
mean,
to get off the
Sebastian.
ship. Yeah. What do you mean, just Sebastian?
oh, he was figuring it out. I was just saying, but you already knew.
I
He was figuring it out.
forgot.
Yeah, he was figuring it out. You already knew, but like, he was getting there.
Yeah, yeah, they're all rushing to get off the ship. Peter drops his Zune, so he goes back to get it, and he just starts floating off into space. Yeah, Groot can't reach him. Mantis is freaking out. Rocket's freaking out. He starts freezing over, and then his face swells, which by
weird.
all indication, that motherfucker's gone.
That's never happened before, though. Like on the movie.
No,
Guardian
it's never
movie.
happened in the
No.
Guardians movie, but pure scientific fact that would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
he was fine before.
well, that was when he was part celestial.
Yeah, that was so strange. Yeah.
Did he get rid of that?
He
I
did.
don't remember.
It's not that he's still technically part celestial because his dad was Ego, but when Ego died, that power kind of left him, as far as I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I guess.
But yeah. I've seen a lot of criticism and complaining about the fact that where was Pete's helmet, his mask, or his rocket boots?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
I know the mask was destroyed in 2, but then he has it again in Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, still has it.
And he doesn't have it in this movie. Neither the rocket boots.
And the jetpack. Remember the rigs and the jet rigs and the
either. Yeah.
And, also the thing that they can put in their ships for them to like cover them in space. What's that too?
Yeah,
very handy.
That's gone. It was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, it's just he's missing like most of his equipment throughout the whole movie. But he brought his multiplayer though.
He brought a Zune. He's got to have his Zune.
Yeah, I know. I think it's really dumb that he doesn't bring his stuff with him.
And then
really
Adam Warlock saved him.
Yeah.
Which, no.
Yeah, I don't see why Adam Warlock would.
I don't even mind that Adam Warlock saved him. It's no.
Oh, he's dead.
Peter would have been dead. He would not have survived that.
I don't know why they were so horrified to kill somebody off.
Yeah. Apparently, according to Gunn, he was like he didn't feel like he needed to kill anybody.
Oh, but he felt like he needed to tease it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Howard, commit.
Really think.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah. I thought when Peter, his face like inflated, I was like, oh, he's gone.
No, honestly, I didn't buy it. In the theater. I was like, no, I know he's not dead.
I was like, he's gonna fly. I knew he's gonna fly over and save him.
Yeah.
I was like, if this is how he goes, I'm like, that's a very unceremonious way to kill him.
for Peter of all people.
Yeah.
It would
That's why they
be
didn't buy it.
Ceremonious way.
it would be very much like him to die because he had to go back for his music,
Yeah, like that makes sense, but
which is how he almost
which,
died.
by the way, he wasn't going back for the music for him either.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't going there for himself, which is like even more kind of like heartbreaking about it, I guess. But
It's what he has of Yondu.
Hmm?
It's what he is. I know it's what he has of Yondu. Like that's why
Yeah.
it means a lot to him. Yeah, you get it.
well, no, he went back for it for Rocket.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, Adam Warlock saves him. They do the big hug, and now the ending, which despite that scene where Quill very much should have been dead, I love everything about the ending. I don't have a single thing to complain about in the ending.
I think it should have been like 30 minutes sooner. I think the movie was too long. I could definitely feel the runtime.
Did you also feel that the place they broke into, the like the body base thing, like that was really unnecessary? The gourd. Because
Yeah.
given I talked about it, nothing was accomplished there, like other than like Peter doing something humanizing.
Well, his conversation with Gamora is really the only thing to really take away from that.
Which got cut short. They made a joke of it. It was meaningless.
Yeah, it just got played for laughs.
Yeah. So yeah, movie could have been a lot shorter if you cut the scene out and find a different way, a shorter way for them to get the information they need to get. But yeah,
As fun a scene as it was, I do agree.
Yeah.
It was kind of unnecessary.
yeah.
It was all so they could learn about the fat Asian dude. That was the entire mission of the Flesh Planet.
That's his description, the fat Asian dude.
Not the scientist.
That's all they got from him. Well, there's plenty of scientists there.
Playing a scientist. That wasn't a fat Asian chick though.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate, but yeah, onto the ending of the movie.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Which I do also like.
I have nothing to complain about in the movie's ending. I think it's a pretty perfect ending. I have seen people complain about it though.
What are the criticisms?
That it's just kind of that there's no real big ending. There's no real big finale. It's just that, and I'm like, oh, right. Another big criticism is that nobody died. So because of that, they're like the ending is null and void.
I'm fine with not the one dying. Just what I said. To stop fucking faking it out.
Yeah.
Stop telling me somebody's dying and just show them dying.
Yeah, it's really manipulative.
But yeah, so I was like, well then, because like if you don't get this ending if somebody dies.
Yeah,
you don't.
It's a very happy ending.
It's a very happy ending for these characters. And I love everything about it. I love the scene where, Peter says goodbye to, Gamora, and you get that, oh, I bet we were fun. Like, yeah, just throw some fucking daggers at me. Yeah, sure, James Gunn, do it.
I mean, he's on a roll with you.
Yeah, he's on a roll with me. But pretty much from, like, the moment...
I was kind of worried he was going to make them just get back together.
No, and he didn't. Thank God he didn't do that.
I was horrified
but that was also part of like Peter's arc, like of accepting, like, all right, she's not the Gamora I knew, but I don't need to hop from lily pad to lily pad. I can swim, and finally stop running from things. And he's gonna go see his dad or his grandpa. I keep saying dad. But yeah, he's gonna go see his grandpa. Pretty much from like the moment Pete makes Rocket captain, I'm just in tears for like the rest of the movie at this point. And this is the last moment where it happens because it's literally the end of the movie. Yeah. So I need to know if you guys are smart or dumb. When Groot says "I love you guys," how did you interpret that?
Gamora being able to understand him.
No. At the end of the movie, when they're all in the circle doing the Ravager salute to Rocket, and Groot says, "I love you guys." How did you interpret that? Because there's a right way and there's a dumb way.
I'm not sure that, I didn't know there was so wrong with he loves them. I don't what?
No. How did you interpret that? What he was saying? Did you interpret it as him actually saying it?
No, we understand him.
Good, Sebastian. You're not a fucking moron. Because most people are thinking Groot actually said, "I love you guys." And not as many are like understanding that it's the movie letting us understand Groot for the first time.
Okay.
Like, they don't have to tell us what he said. We just know. Because we've spent, like as the movie said earlier on, the longer you spend time with him, the more you just kind of know what he's saying. Yeah. The fact that people are saying, "Oh, he actually said I love you guys." I'm like, no, you fucking morons. The movie just let us understand him. We finally understand him.
Very, very, like you're going very hard on calling morons because they understood a different way.
No, because
I mean,
it's not like, yeah, they understand it a different way, but it's like it's the mindset that leads to people fucking clapping.
I mean, I was gonna say,
Sebastian gets what I'm talking about.
I can understand that people misinterpreting that, because remember Guardians 1, Groot said, "We are Groot," you know?
That's true.
It's like we can totally like.
It's true. He did say that we are Groot.
And he even said it in this movie too, I think.
Yeah, I totally got it as him saying "we," like, you know, learning a new word with "we" and then Groot, like, you know.
But it's also like the movie made a point to actually tell us that the longer you're with him, the more you understand him. So at the movie's end, to just assume he actually said, "I love you guys." Yeah, for me, that was like, no, in no way is he actually saying that. It's just the movie letting us understand him. Mm-hmm. Because I've actually seen like some of the audience reactions, and like every time he goes, "I love you guys," you just hear the audience start clapping, going, "Woo, woo!" Like he started talking, and I'm like, no. This is the same reason why in No Way Home the movie stops for 5 seconds to let you see Andrew Garfield, because they want time for you to clap. Sorry, that shit gets weird every time. No, every movie does that, but like it's weird in No Way Home. Like when you watch it when there's nobody around and the movie stops for 5 seconds for Peter Parker, for Andrew Garfield to go, "I'm Peter Parker."
Cosmina said this. I hate it.
And I'm Spider-Man.
Cosmina said that.
I didn't actually watch that video.
I know. That's why it's worse, because I
didn't watch that video.
You didn't. I actually kind of hate that. No, I hate that point. It's almost every movie has that. When like I remember when he lands, I gotta recall that scene. Shit,
also,
remember when he
Spider-Man landing in Civil War?
Yeah.
Where he just kind of stands there.
No, I know. It's just funny because they make these moments now, like waiting for the YouTube video to pop up. Like that's what they're doing.
Yeah. All right. Like I was gonna say,
it feels more obvious. It feels more obvious.
Yeah. A lot of movies just let the scene sink in. Yeah. Like for 5 seconds.
But that scene was definitely give them time to clap.
Sure. So does it feel awkward for you watching at home and being like,
it feels a little bit awkward. I still like it. Like, it's fine. It doesn't take away from the movie at all for me. It is just funny now when I watch it.
It's just better than if the first time everybody was clapping and you couldn't hear a word they were saying.
Yeah.
I definitely take 5 seconds of silence over 5 seconds of not being able to understand.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I like the experience of people clapping, but like I want to understand what they're saying, you know?
Yeah. I've started getting annoyed when people clap like during the movie. Like I understand it when it's something like No Way Home where it's this big like experience, but like if it's just a random part in the movie where like opening day kind of situation. But if I'm there on the weekend and like
when people clapped at the end of Mario movie, I was stunned.
What? Yeah, that happened for me at my Mario screening too. People clapped and I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up.
They had they were clapping like crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Let's go
home. They tried clapping to the beat of the song at the end, and they were off tempo horribly. Yeah. Which I find so funny because it was just the Mario theme.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to distract. I went off on a tangent there, but yeah, where were we?
You're a very angry person.
Yeah. So we get to the actual ending of the movie, which is the dog days are over scene, where they all start dancing together.
Which I like a lot.
I love that.
I like it a lot too because Nebula smiles for like the first time in ever.
Yeah,
Like,
and she dances too.
Laugh. She dances
too.
Like her most humanistic moment.
Oh, and we completely forgot to mention because Peter's leaving, right? He's leaving the Guardians to go see his grandpa. Mantis is also going to leave too. She's going to be on her own. She wants to find herself essentially. Nebula is going to help run Nowhere, right? And Drax wants to go with Mantis, but Nebula says like, no, these kids need someone to look up to have somebody to care for, or somebody to care for them. You weren't meant to be a destroyer. You were born to be a dad. How did that hit you, Ernest?
Pretty well. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
It was like, because it's true.
It's the truth.
We've seen him be very good with kids, except when he hit that little girl in the face. But that wasn't intentional. He was trying to play with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just played a little too hard.
Yeah.
And also we get the conclusion in this Dog Days Are Over sequence. The conclusion to Drax's arc, kind of finally being a dancer. He finally dances.
Yeah, he finally dances.
Yeah. Because he has that story in Guardians too about like how like everybody would dance and his wife Yvette wouldn't move a muscle. And then he says at the beginning of Guardians 3, he's like, dancing is stupid. Dancing's for idiots or something like that. And then he finally dances at the end of the movie. And yeah, Peter goes to see his grandpa, and his grandpa immediately recognizes him too after like 30 years.
Yeah,
immediately recognizes him, which is super sweet. And then we get the final shots in the movie, which is the remaining people, just yelling in like happiness, and then the final shot of Rocket screaming happiness, and the movie's over. Yeah, I love the ending. I love everything about it.
Might have been very poignant for it to have it be Rocket and Groot dancing.
Yeah.
Those two. Which I'll say, now that we like got to all the flashbacks, I wish there was something with Rocket and Groot as a flashback with them meeting up. Like, I wish they could have committed that much into, like, since it was since the movie is like this. I think it's a little strange to have your final movie be a lot about a character's flashback, like one of your like third characters in the movie.
Well,
but
he was the only character that we didn't like know the backstory of. We just knew that he had been messed around. Like, we knew he'd been taken apart back together.
The saddest creature in the universe.
Yeah, we knew Drax's, we knew Gamora's, we knew Nebula's, we knew Mantis's, we knew Peter's. We didn't know Groot's.
Yeah,
don't really know Groot's.
I think I would have liked a Groot and Rocket flashback, just something slight, small with them meeting up, and like really, because Rocket and Groot care a lot about each other. It would have been nice for us to see why, you know.
Yeah. Also, Rocket is the low-key main character of this trilogy.
That is what this movie was trying to get at.
Yeah, he's kind of the main character, and if he's not like he's like the secret main character. And for Gunn, Rocket is very personal because James Gunn sees himself as Rocket. Like, he writes Rocket as if it's him, because that's how he kind of sees himself. So it's very personal for him, and especially if this is his last time with Marvel before he goes off to DC. It makes sense for it to finally kind of delve into Rocket, because he's been the most secretive out of all of them outside of Groot.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course we have a final ending with the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the new lineup. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the first end credit scene where they played "Come and Get Your Love."
that felt like the real ending for me. Like God of War Ragnarok, you have an ending and then the actual
the
ending.
ending and then the secret ending.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, it's a new team made up of one of the girls.
Yeah, her name is
that
Phyla.
I have no idea what she can do. I mean,
I don't know what
we
she
see her
can
powers
do.
in there.
I know she's a character that exists in the Marvel universe. I don't know anything about her.
Nothing. Adam Warlock is.
Adam Warlock's there. Kraglin's there. Rocket's there. Cosmo's there too.
Yeah.
And then Groot's there.
Oh boy! And what do they play?
Come and Get Your Love.
Yeah, boy.
That was the one that played right at the beginning of the first one, right?
Yeah. So the movie, so technically this whole trilogy ends with the same song that it started with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, but Peter though, but that's fine.
Yeah, no Peter, but then the final end credit scene is him eating cereal with his grandpa.
Why is that? Because the
legendary Star-Lord will return. Whatever that means.
And I was like, oh no. I was fine with just not having him do anything after that. That was fine. But like, oh, alright, fine.
Yeah.
If we get on your movie, let's see. Star-Lord, Guardians of the Galaxy Adventure.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But that's the movie. Since you're here, Sebastian, you can give your quick thoughts if you have any to really say about it.
I liked it, but it was too long.
Insightful as always.
But I got.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. And it is a bit long. I didn't feel it ever, but
it's not so much of a feeling. It's that this there is a section of the movie you could cut out completely, and it would probably be better, and just add up like 5 minutes or something else. Like that section was what, like 15 minutes?
More than that.
I don't think it was more than 15 minutes.
It definitely was.
Because
they had two different stories going on at the same time for that part, because they split up.
Yeah, they split.
So it definitely was more than 15 minutes.
It's not as egregious, but I dare compare it to Canto Bight.
Oh no, fuck off.
Where nothing is achieved, like
it's
just small things.
I hate that that's where your mind first goes. I absolutely despise how that's where your mind first goes.
It's not as egregious. Oh, where should I go? It's like the best example that I can probably come up with.
Canto Bight's so much worse.
I said it's not as egregious as Canto Bight, for like it's kind of like Canto Bight.
I just don't want to leave it at that.
I
don't want that to be the final word on that.
Sebastian, how do you feel about the F-bomb?
It was used funny. It was a little weird to hear in a Marvel movie.
Which
but it felt great, didn't it?
Yeah, I'll give Sebastian the quick fun fact. When James Gunn asked about whether or not he could use the F-bomb, Kevin Feige told him the Russos were going to have one in Endgame, but they didn't want that to be their legacy, so they took it out. So if you want that to be your legacy, go ahead. And he said, absolutely. So technically, I think what we can learn from this is Disney don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But you only get the one. You only get the one.
Yeah.
You get the one.
You see, you can say fuck, but you can't smoke. Don't smoke in our movie. It's bad.
Is that one of their rules?
Yeah, no smoking.
Is that actually a Disney thing? You can't smoke?
Yep, no smoking.
Huh.
The only character that smoked in the MCU was Ross, and that was before the buyout. Also, and Jeff Bridges.
That's right.
And Iron Man.
That's right.
Yep, no smoking after that.
You can drink like a sailor.
Yeah, you can drink.
You can drink like a sailor, but you can't smoke.
That reminds me, I am glad they actually showed alcoholism is not a fun quirk Tony Stark has, and as an actual like serious problem.
Yeah.
In the MCU,
I'm glad they kind of lingered on it, or didn't linger on it rather, and just kind of showed it and then talked about it for a second later.
That's funny. I kind of think Tony's alcoholism was kind of like not really given much attention.
Yeah, that's like a
No.
major part of his character in the comics, and they never
Yeah.
really touched on his
Yeah, that's
alcoholism.
that's what I was saying. Was I'm glad they finally actually showed.
Shut on what?
The alcoholism is bad.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. You're glad they didn't have it be a thing for him in the movie.
I'm glad it wasn't just like alcohol is funny.
Alcohol is funny.
He's like, no, this dude is sad. He's
It's like
sad.
no,
He drank so
this
much
is
he
a
passed out.
yeah. It's no, this is a problem.
Yeah, it's a
I
part
think
of
the
his
best.
problem.
Well, I think most of what we got for it was Iron Man 2 when he, went out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was kind of made into a comedic thing. I'm not gonna lie. I think they made a joke of it.
Oh, they absolutely made a joke of it.
Mm.
Remember when he pissed himself in the suit?
Yeah, it was funny. No, it wasn't, but it was. But was it funny? You like the one he blew that watermelon?
It was kind of sad.
They tried a little differently in 3. Like they gave him like PTSD and stuff.
Yeah, but he never.
They,
And
handled,
I
they
liked
handled
that.
that. They handled that better than his alcoholism.
Yeah,
That
I
had nothing
liked
to do with
that
the
in that
alcoholism.
movie, but then it doesn't really like I don't remember him ever having that issue ever again, really.
This,
Mm.
this is kind of a small tangent, but yeah. To kind of just wrap up my thoughts. I really, even after talking about it for holy shit 3 hours, 3.5 hours almost.
Might
I
as well
st-
watch the movie.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I still really fucking like this movie. I think it's really good. It has a lot of problems that it does. I even noticed them when I saw the movie, but I can't ignore what I really liked about it and how much I loved a lot of aspects about it. So, with that said, I'm ready to give my score. I'd give it like an 8,
I'm gonna
which is
say 7.
which is about what I'd give like the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was thinking it was like a 7, but if you could trim like even like 15, 20 minutes off of it, I might bump it up. Just because I started like getting itchy in my seat. just it just kept going. I even told my mom like right before the movie started. I'm like, I'm surprised you're going because of how long this movie is, and it was almost 3 hours, or was it 2.5?
It was 2.5. Yeah.
Okay, I
It was
told her it
like
was
it was
two and a
like it
half,
was
and
like
she's like,
2:29 or
"Oh,"
something. Yeah.
she was like, "Oh, I might have rethought my decision of going if I knew that beforehand." But she liked it, and she cried.
Ernest.
Huh? My
Final
score.
final thoughts, yeah, and score.
Final thoughts. So yeah, I still do really do like the movie a lot. Think it's a fitting ending for I quote unquote ending. It's a fitting send off for now for the Guardians. I don't care. I'm not gonna watch it again, so it's an ending for me at least. For the Guardians, and I'm very satisfied where some of them, well, most of them ended up -1. For the film. So yeah, I'll have to give it an well, I like it a lot subjectively an 8, but other than that, I think it's a 5. I think it has a lot of prevalent issues that do hold the film back from being as good as the other films, as the prior films. But yeah, I do really do like it a lot. It hit me a lot, very hard in the feels, and I appreciate that.
I was expecting a 6.
I guess
Sorry,
you
that
weren't far off.
that fucking mantis scene. You see, I hate it.
Which one?
We'll get into it after, but yeah, it is. Jesus, it's almost 2 o'clock for us, by the way.
Well, it's that close in it. It's that close in it here, folks. Is that what we're doing?
I think that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. All the people watching at home, thank you. Subscribe, subscribe. All that not good stuff. Share to your friends, to your mom, to your dad, your grandmother. She'll watch it. She'll fall asleep. It's fine. We need the views. Give us money. Give us money.
Okay. Well, maybe don't do that.